It's the next to the last podcast of 2024. We're almost through with this year. I wrote an email. I wrote a Patreon email today. What do you think? 2024 too fast or too slow
or too furious?
Or too furious?
It's probably too furious.
Too furious, probably.
I don't know. It
seemed to go by pretty quick, right?
It happened way faster than I anticipated.
Yeah,
because it started off and I was like, but I think part of that was because I've had so much happening.
Yeah.
In my life, because I got the house. Yeah, I just started a relationship. I have my current car.
Yeah.
So many games came out.
Yeah.
To the point where like I blinked and I'm like, well, my backlog is massive now.
Sure.
And that was before I started a relationship. It was like, fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's time to get going because speaking of too many video games, we've got a video game awards show to go over, which is why this podcast is coming out on Tuesday instead of Sunday.
The Video Game Awards.
The Video Game Awards 2024. Welcome back, everybody, to the RageSelect podcast here on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
We got way too much to talk about, so I'm going to do this real quick.
That's one of the reasons we postponed was because there was just so much going on.
Yes. I watched a bunch of stuff, and I was disappointed by all of it. I watched one thing that I really liked. So I watched that,
or just in general. Is what you're
I watched that Heretic movie, and I didn't really like it all that much. I thought it was pretty good.
You didn't like the Jar Jar impression that he does in the middle of the movie?
Until the end, no. I watched Venom: The Last Dance, which strangely enough I hated because it didn't give me enough shitty Venom.
That's fair.
The movie kept adding more Venoms, and I was like, no, I want the shitty one with Tom Hardy. I don't care about Juno Temple, whose arm doesn't move. For some reason, and she just holds her arm down. She's just got one arm that she can't use, and it's not like gone. She just holds it, like by her side.
Very strangely,
it's a weird thing.
There's a lot of weird payoffs in that movie.
Yeah, I was like, I love this crappy franchise, and it's gotten too crappy. It's finally gone below. Wait, you just saw Craven though, right?
I just saw Craven.
The thing is like the came out lower than Madam Web. I didn't know if that was possible.
It's so bad, guys. Watch it with a bunch of friends and drunk a high or something because you'll have a really good time.
Over the Christmas holidays, I swear to God, I'm just gonna have like an all-day drunk fest where I just go through Venom and Morbius and Venom 2 and Madam Web and Venom 3.
Watch them all in order, Jeff.
Gotta watch them all in order. Get the canon. But I did find something that I really liked, and that was The Man on the Inside.
Oh, okay.
Man on the Inside, which is the latest thing from Michael Schur. I think it probably got a little bit lost in the crush because there's a lot coming out right now.
I think it did right now purely because there's a lot going on. Like their show's ending, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that this is the one that got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the latest Michael Schur show. It's Ted Danson. It's actually a lot of the alumni. The guy that plays Sean on The Good Place.
Oh yeah,
he's
in
like
there
the
too.
client. Stephanie Beatriz using her regular voice.
Yeah,
which is always a little weird.
It's always weird whenever that happens.
The waitress from It's Always Sunny is Ted Danson's daughter.
Is she really?
Yeah,
okay.
There's just a whole the waitress from It's Always Sunny is Ted Danson's daughter, and she's married to Pillboy.
Oh my goodness! Well, just everyone he can get his hands on.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people in there, and then a lot of the so the premise of the show is that there's a private investigator that needs to figure out about this theft of this like necklace, and she needs somebody to go to this nursing home and basically infiltrate.
She needs a man on the inside.
A man on the inside, and it's based on a true story.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's based on an actual true story. So Ted Danson is this retiree who's a widower, and he's not really doing anything with his life, and he gets all giddy. And so, I really appreciated it. I think if you watch The Good Place and the parts where Ted Danson is being like, is being real dopey as Michael when he gets so excited about stuff, that's the kind of Ted Danson that you're getting here. Also,
I love that Ted Danson.
That show made me cry like 4, maybe 5 times. Like,
well, this is the thing I've heard about it through interviews and stuff is that Michael Schur felt like not enough shows show you the realizations of things that happen to people as they age.
Yeah.
And he wanted the show to be kind of the way The Good Place was, where about being a good person, and the idea is like, well, we want to show you what happens to people as you get older that people just don't talk about.
Right.
And that was one of the things that I heard about that show that causes a lot of people to cry because a lot of people have dealt with those exact things in life, and them finally being like portrayed that way, I think is really sweet.
The other thing that's really cool is that seems like a really weird thing to say, and intellectually you got to know this, but like the nursing home in that show is fucking tits. Like, it's awesome.
Oh, okay.
Like, everybody has their own individual apartment. They have happy hour every day at like 3 p.m. So everybody just gets fucking sauced. Like, everybody can just leave whenever they want to.
That does sound like a great fucking place.
You just go wherever you want to. Everybody's like, everybody's fucking, like, all this, like.
Well, that's a real thing, apparently.
This crazy stuff going on, and it's great. I will say, this is the thing. There's a big chunk of the show that deals with dementia, and it's
Yes.
very real, but like, I feel like if you are sensitive to that, you should know that going up front, because
Yes,
like,
you
it
should.
really is on Front Street, and it really like, I don't have any relatives with dementia, but it was like I got stabbed several times by the conversations and emotions on display in that show. So
I thought you were going to say I got stabbed by several different dementia patients in my life.
It's true. No, but it was it's a very like,
I didn't remember any of it, which was the worst part.
it was just what I needed, because as Michael Schur, it's very schmaltzy, it's very like emotional, it's very kind of feel good. And here's the big thing, Michael, it is like 8 22-minute episodes.
Really?
Like, it is. It's not hard to get through it all.
You
like,
can do
you
that
can
real easily.
Yeah, I'm also watching the final season of Beastars right now, and it's like 18 episodes or something. And I'm just like, oh shit, I didn't realize there were this many. Oh wait, or I could be wrong about that. Anyway, that's what I got this week to recommend. I'm still trying to find some other stuff. I did start watching that Creature Commandos.
Oh, okay.
I do really
still
like
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
It's super James Gunn. I really liked it. The first 2 episodes were very strange because all of the soundtrack was Gogol Bordello songs.
Interesting.
Which I was a huge fan of, like 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. So you knew all of the songs.
Yeah. Like, back when I was in my like 16, maybe 14 years ago, I was in my 30s, and I worked at this warehouse. And so you work with a bunch of people, and you have to decide on like what you all can agree to listen to. And for some reason, there's this one Gogol Bordello album that we all could agree to listen to. And so we just listened to it all the fucking time.
That's crazy.
We'd sing along and stuff. And so, but I really like it. I think it's great. I was reading some of the negative reviews online. I'm like, you motherfuckers got no souls. But anyway, all right. Quick, Michael, what do you got for me before we jump in here?
I've been watching the latest season of What We Do in the Shadows, which I think is ending tonight as we're recording this. So I think so.
I thought it was a Thursday show.
It's a Monday show. I think, at least I thought it was. At least that's what Hulu was showing it as. But I've been watching the new season to try, because it's the only really new thing I've watched outside of Craven. But you can listen to my One of Us review for Craven.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I actually got caught up. I got caught up today.
Yeah, it's way better than I was anticipating, because it feels closer to the way the old stuff was.
Yeah,
there is like an overarching plot in the background, but it's not as in your face, I feel, as some of the other ones were, because you're still seeing the stupid things that are going on with each character.
Yeah, in
many different ways, and I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. And I haven't seen, like I said, I don't know how it's going to end so far. But I've been really enjoying it again, which is nice, because I was always a big fan of that show.
Yeah. It's so funny because I don't know if I think the addition of Cravensworth's monster, I don't know if that particular character does anything for me, but the shit that Laszlo says about him, like his attitude towards the monster, is so like entertaining that I'm just like, oh, okay.
That, and I like the fact that like the show also was like, oh, by the way, we had another roommate that we just forgot.
Yes,
like about entirely.
And then I gotta tell people this, like, because I would just, whenever I finished watching, because I was watching, I think it was like Seinfeld was the last thing that I watched.
Yeah.
And I get done, I rewatched The Good Place, then I watched this, and then I'm getting caught up on a lot of other stuff. There's an episode, the latest series of What We Do in the Shadows, that's just the Warriors.
Yes,
with the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. I was like, oh shit, they're doing that. Okay,
yeah, that's just the whole episode, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
I was like, I love this show so much, and I'm going to miss it, because I was going downhill on my enjoyment of it quite a bit in the last couple seasons, and I'm not going to say they're bad seasons necessarily. They're just not as good seasons as the others one. And this was like, oh, this is reminding me why I really like the show.
I had to step
that and the new job that Guillermo has with the guy, Tim Heidecker is his boss. Mm-hmm. That's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I had to step away from it to kind of let my expectations cool down, because I was so hyped for it that then when it wasn't just like the greatest, I was disappointed. Yeah. And I had to kind of get away and be like, well, let's go check it and see what the guys are up to. And it was like, okay. Yeah. Also, I have to say that this last season, I appreciate that, like, Nadja is just unhinged. Yes. Like, she's just fucking crazy. Like,
just all in crazy. And I'm like, I'm fine with this.
Like, there's this whole arc with Guillermo and Nandor, and then there's kind of the Craven's Worst stuff with Laszlo and Colin Robinson, and meanwhile Nadia just is kind of screaming and destroying things all the time, and I'm like, that's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want. Right,
it's so much fun. You guys should go ahead and watch it. It's about to end pretty soon, so
yeah. Okay, with that, we're gonna go ahead and jump in. We have a lot to go. I've got like 3 times as many tabs this week as normal.
Guys, this computer is like on fire right now.
It's got so many tabs. I don't think I even have any memory left. Okay,
it's all Chrome tabs.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the pre-show. We're gonna talk about the winners of the game show of the Game Awards. We're gonna talk about the trailers. And then if we have time left, I've got some other news stories, but if we don't get to those, fuck it. They weren't that important anyway.
Yeah. Or you'll hear about them next podcast.
Or we'll hear about them next podcast, or I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, the pre-show actually had a lot of crazy stuff.
It did, surprisingly so.
Actually, before we jump right in here, this was a much better Game Awards. It's weird because I feel like this year's games were weaker than last year, but this year's Game Awards were better than last year's.
So real quick, guys, I'm just going to preface this. I was unable to watch the awards show itself. I saw all the trailers.
Yeah.
But what frustrates me is that it's the one time I haven't watched the award show in quite some time.
Yep.
And everyone's like, no, it was really fun. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And it's like 3-4 hours. It's a really long one.
It's so long. It was so long. Anyway, so yes. So thumbs up. We started with Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden's getting a new spin-off game
called Ragebound, and this is from the people that made Blasphemous, the Game Kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's a 2D side-scrolling Ninja Gaiden, but it appears to have like different versions of the characters. Like we got the NES blue Ryu Hayabusa, but then also the Ninja Gaiden like black Demon Hunter.
Yeah, he's like the newer Ninja Gaiden
Metalhead
Ryu Hayabusa, and then the OG look. And it looks fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, at first it was just the cinematic trailer, but then they show the actual gameplay itself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this looks like a great fucking time.
Yeah, it's like pixel based. It looks like kind of got Super Nintendo. It looks like it's got a lot of like hardcore action.
It's got that old school Ninja Gaiden feel to it that a lot of people forget.
Yeah,
it was.
It reminds me a lot of like The Messenger, which is a good thing because that was like the best Ninja Gaiden game in a long time. It's also like really violent. There's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
To all the different kills and stuff.
And the more I look at it, the more I'm just like, this just looks like it's just going to be a great time.
Yep.
The way everything is. And I want to see what its story is as well, because it seems to have all this stuff going on in the beginning of like him fighting. Like, I'm guessing himself. I'm not 100% certain exactly what's going on in the beginning.
Maybe it's the guy from Ninja Gaiden Yaiba.
Maybe? I don't know. What is the description? Did I say? Does it mention a character name on it?
I don't know.
Sometimes it does.
Let's see. What does it say? It says no, it's just
talking about how awesome Jeff Keighley's dick is.
It's talking about how Jeff Keighley's dick is so big.
And how much friends he is with Hideo Kojima.
Yeah. Even though Hideo Kojima came out and I had to go pick up I went to go pick up cigarettes in the middle of the thing, and everyone was like, Hideo Kojima's on. Tell Jeff to get back here. And I was like, oh, shit, what's he going to announce? And it was like an award.
Yeah, nothing.
And I was like, oh, fuck you guys. Like, this ain't shit.
We were really hoping for something else.
From the acclaimed team behind Blasphemous, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound successfully unites the classic lore and gameplay of the Tecmo-developed Ninja Gaiden series from the 8-bit era with the depth and intensity of modern 3D entries. The best of both eras come together to create an epic and thrilling adventure. Our story begins when Ryu Hayabusa journeys to America to honor his father's will. While he's away, the barrier between the human and demon world suddenly shatters, unleashing a terrifying army upon Hayabusa Village, which now faces an unprecedented threat in Ryu's absence. To stand against this new threat, Kenji Mozu, a young ninja from the Hayabusa Village, rises to the challenge. So that must be who's in the trailer.
It's most likely him then, if that's the case. I wanted to be sure, because I don't want to be like, all Hayabusas look the same to me.
Ninja racist.
Yeah, we got to be careful, Jeff, about ninjas.
Let's see. From there, we got a game called One Move Away, which is basically like packing like a car and then unpacking a car and then like packing it up. It's like unpacking but 3D, and it looks like a VR game.
Yeah, it looks like the way a VR game would look, but it's got almost the hands that you do surgery simulator with.
Yeah,
kind of look.
But there's obviously parts where it's like you're manually turning the boxes like with the D-pad and then trying to fit them all in a car. It looks all right. I mean, it looks fine for what it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's a kind of game. It's one of those games that I feel like is oddly satisfying. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I got this to fit in there just right without breaking something, and I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's also obviously it's like it's doing the unpacking thing where it's tracking somebody's life through a series of moves.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Which is a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. That way of storytelling.
Coming to consoles in Steam next year. Let's see. After that, Slay the Spire 2. I feel like we've already seen. Or have we seen Slay the Spire 2 before?
I feel like we saw a trailer for it, but I think this is the most like gameplay we've seen for Slay the Spire 2.
Okay.
Because that was the thing about Slay the Spire 2. Because I remember them announcing it, but I don't remember seeing this much gameplay on it.
Okay. It looks an awful lot like Slay the Spire. I wouldn't be able to tell you what the difference between Slay the Spire 1 and Slay the Spire 2 is.
I think it's just how much is going on with the models and stuff.
The art style?
Yeah, I don't feel like it was that detailed. I feel, if that makes sense.
It was more like a pixel based thing the first time around. This one's more just like drawn characters with a lot more detail. It's got a clean look to it. But
if you like the first one, you're gonna like this one just fine. I feel.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of all there is to it. I mean, coming to early access 2025. So it did a little tricky trick there. I don't know if you saw that in the trailer at the end where they said 2025, and then it made the 5 change to a bunch of different things, and then it was like 2025.
Yeah, it was like, who knows, maybe.
Yeah, it's a good troll.
Just in case, yeah.
Dave the Diver is going to the jungle.
I'm going strong, man.
We got Dave the Diver in the jungle, showing all your favorite characters from Dave the Diver, suiting up, packing up, and driving out to the jungle. I had to check. This is yet another DLC for Dave the Diver. This is
makes
not
sense,
Dave the Diver 2, but another
It's not
one.
like Ernest goes to jail and Ernest saves Hawaii or whatever.
Right.
These are all part of the same Ernest universe. I'm sorry, Dave the Diver universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's an animated trailer, and it was just as charming as Dave the Diver. I mean, again, that's great and everything, but like Dave the Diver, we also have, I don't know if we'll get to it, but like Balatro put out a third pack of card crossovers.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, Dave the Diver has a new DLC, and it's like, it's Tuesday. What the fuck else would be going on?
Dave the Diver consistently surprises me with how it has been getting updates in ways that I just didn't anticipate. Like, you expect it to just be more fishes or something, but instead they're these very intricate thing. Like, we got a Godzilla fucking DLC from them, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
And this doesn't have any actual gameplay. It's just a little cinematic.
No, it's just showing that, hey, your favorite characters are going to be in the jungle in this DLC.
So, I don't know. I mean, good enough. Coming, it says late 2025. So probably a really big DLC.
Yeah.
If it's going to take
that much time, yeah.
But let's see. Thick as Thieves is the latest game from Warren Spector.
Yeah.
Of Deus Ex and Epic Mickey fame, and looks like some kind of thiefy immersive sim, but it also is multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember being excited, and then it was like multiplayer. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Every goddamn time with these goddamn things.
Yeah. We didn't get that too much. We didn't get that as much this time around.
That's true, but I hate what happens for very interesting ones whenever that does happen.
For like Warren Spector, like the guy that made Deus Ex is going to be making a new game, and it's like, oh no, it's multiplayer.
Yeah, it's like the hood and multiplayer peoples, and it's like, I guess.
The only thing I'm hoping, Michael, and I don't, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we see this at Summer Games Fest where it's like a witch lady?
I don't remember. That's the problem.
I thought it was the same game.
We could look it up real quick, just look up Thick of Thieves and then see if it pops up.
But the thing is that this could be a thing where Warren Spector has tricked us. That's announcement trailer 3 days ago. No, it's something different. I think it's something different.
Something else then, if that's the case.
I think it's something different.
This is the announcement, is what it said.
So he could also be tricking us in a way where it's like, did you learn from Redfall? And yes, you can play this as multiplayer, but it also has like a fully realized actual single player mode Like, you know how many multiplayer games will be like, you can play it with your friends or you can play it by yourself.
That's true.
And then you can't, but maybe this will be the one where they do, because everything about it looks great. It looks like Dishonored. It looks like
it looks fantastic.
It's got this really cool, like really bright kind of steampunk but neon steampunk art style. Like, I think it looks fucking great. And then they're like, play it with other people, and I'm like, no, don't make me do that. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's really annoying when that sort of thing happens. And then because I remember that happening with that one. What the hell was that? It was that game that failed hard.
Suicide Squad Kills Justice League.
No, not that one. That one yet as well. But
Concord.
the one where it's all these old timey people on like a portal and shit, and then
old timey people doing what?
It was like these steampunk looking people, and then they go into this portal, and then it's like, oh, like
are you
a different world. And then
Nightingale,
yeah. And then they're like, I was like, this looks kind of cool. And they're like, and then look at this open world MMO survival game. I'm like, well, fuck all of this.
Yeah,
I hate this shit.
Chart your rise to master thief in the glittery, gloomy 1910s metropolis, blending industry, magic, and intrigue. Your choices unlock unique playstyles and strategies. Tell your story through a fusion of emergent multiplayer gameplay and dynamic storytelling. Gross.
Yep.
Well, maybe it's the one. You know what? That's one of the nice things about running RageSelect is I get to play everything, and I could just go, oh, holy shit. Yeah, all right.
I don't know. It could be fun. We'll see how it plays out.
Could be fun.
Literally.
Let's see. From there, we got the world premiere trailer for Shadow Labyrinth. Now, Michael, this is a weird one.
So this is what that secret level was about, right?
Yes.
Because I saw this trailer, and I'm like, oh, that explains everything.
Yes. So, okay, let me tell you guys a story. Secret level. Oh, yeah, I also watched the secret level stuff, and it was fine.
I just remember this specific thing in the trailers for secret level.
Yes. So there was one of them that was the Pac-Man secret level, and it was like this blue alien comes out of a tank, and this golden sphere shows up and says, you've got to get out of the labyrinth, you must eat. And he puts on this cape where the bottom is frayed, kind of looks like the ghost from Pac-Man, and then under the hood you could just see like the little white eye circles.
Yeah.
And there's a weird thing where he's going through and he's fighting monsters and he's killing them and he's eating them, and the gold Pac-Man thing is like, eat, you must eat. And then at the end, it kind of turns into this weird horror show where it takes him over and it becomes this giant, like, nega Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone was watching it and it was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Well, this is this game.
Yeah.
Like, you
it
play
turns out as an ad for this game, basically.
you play as this guy, you got Pac-Man behind you, and it's very, very weird, and I don't understand it even a little bit. Like,
well, this is clearly like the one guy from 4chan who's like, I got a great idea for a fucked up Pac-Man game.
Yeah.
But somebody actually listened to them for once, and that's what this game feels like.
I don't know. It's just so strange.
Like, it's like a Newgrounds game. You know what I mean? Talking about like the way a Newgrounds was like the edgy thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's a guy from Newgrounds had a really fucked up idea for a Pac-Man game, and somebody actually gave him money for it.
I don't know. Like, it looks like a Metroidvania, maybe. Like,
it might. That's the problem. Is it looks interesting.
It looks okay. I don't know.
I just don't really know what the fuck is.
I'm just not.
I need to know more. I feel is that the case.
Did you watch the animation?
No, I didn't watch the secret level for it. I just remember the trailers for it, and because I remember the spear in the trailers that were like, oh, that's the Pac-Man thing, but what does it mean?
Right.
And then I saw this trailer, I'm like, oh, that's probably what that is.
Yeah.
So now if I go watch it now, I know what the difference is, but you know, it was vice versa before everybody else.
I felt really privileged because I feel like I was one of like 12 people that watched that particular short, so I actually knew what the fuck was happening when this came
a lot
out.
of the comments are people being like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So yeah, that I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe like put that shit on Game Pass. I don't know. Give me a chance. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to spend $30 on it or whatever.
I'm gonna wait to see what the world thinks of it first before I even look at it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
We got the world premiere trailer for Steel Paws. This is what I forgot. This one was like wait, where's my spreadsheet? I had a spreadsheet for this. Okay, where is it? Steel Paws.
It was made by the Shenmue
Shenmue.
guy.
Yeah, Yu Suzuki.
Looks like a mobile game, is what it says.
Oh yes. And like unclear, it's like a Netflix mobile game, which makes sense because people forget this. They're like from the creator of Shenmue and what's the other one?
Virtua Fighter thing.
Virtua Fighter or whatever. And it's like, no. Yu Suzuki's last game was Air Twister for Apple Arcade, where that lady rode a swan.
That's right.
Like, you guys, this dude is out there looking for paychecks right now.
That's all he wants. Shenmue 3 did not go the way he expected it to.
Yeah. So this is an animated trailer. I'm like, again, there's another game that like later on I realized, oh, this is a phone game, and I was like, well then no thank you very much.
Yeah, every time they're like, oh, this is a mobile game, by the way, I'm like, well, what is it doing here? I don't fucking give a shit about that. But in this case, it's because it's got like a very big name attached to it.
Yeah,
or a big name for us, I guess.
There's a game called Stallcraft. This was Stallcraft X.
I do love that that's the name of it, just to be like, that's right. We're close to that fucking thing's name, so if you Google it wrong, you'll get to us.
So I didn't know what this was, and then I looked it up, and this is like an MMO. This is in the exclusion zone, but you're playing as like Roblox looking guys, but they're also
they look like.
really detailed Roblox guys, and then it's like really violent, and there's like all kinds of like shooting, and it's got like PvP and PvE, and it's some kind of MMO, but then all the characters look like Fall Guys with ghillie suits on.
I feel like this started as a Roblox mod that just turned into this, because that happens every now and then.
Maybe. So yeah, it was very weird. I had to look it up because there was like this trailer for it, and it was very violent, but then the character models were all super fucking cutesy. And it was like, I don't know what I'm watching. Why didn't you just make them like regular sized characters? All of your environments are very detailed. Everything they're wearing is very detailed. All you have to do would be to change the dimensions of your character.
This is definitely, like I said, it definitely probably started life as a mod for something that just took a life of its own.
Yeah,
that just became like, hey, we could really expand this, and then they just did.
And I
don't think it makes sense by the look of it.
And like, I'll be honest, the individual like action doesn't look bad. It's just the character models throw off my brain really hard. Like, I
get it. Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Like, it still feels like it's a commercial for something Roblox related.
Yeah. Let's see. We got the trailer for Midnight Murder Club, which I thought was I thought this was one of those 4v the environment things, like a Lethal Company, because it's a bunch of people like in a spooky, dark, haunted house. And it's like, oh, only one of you gets a gun. Like, there's one gun and 4 people, and you're trying to like shoot ghosts or something. But then it's like, then you look at it closer and you realize that the ghosts are being controlled by somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's like a PvP thing, and it's like, oh.
It's weird. It's another one of those games that sounds kind of cool, but then it just shows all the multiplayer stuff. You're like, this is a game made for streaming.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that plays out.
Which is a shame, because I really could use some more of the Lethal Company. I love those games. The content warning, that was great fun to play.
Great time with those games.
So I guess there's the underwater one right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I forgot the name of it already. I know you keep talking to me about it, and then I forget what it's called each time.
That's because I forget what it's called every time,
we keep Googling it right afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This looks like okay, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's in the beta right now. That's what it's for. So,
and then we've got Kiora, which is from the people that made I don't
know what Core Keeper is.
Core Keeper, right? That was on Xbox Game Pass, and it was like little characters in an isometric dungeon, like in a medieval thing, and you would work together, so you'd have like big teams of people. Okay. And then this looks like the Stardew Valley version, or not the Terraria version of that.
Yeah, that I can see.
Because it's like a bunch of people and in kind of a side-scrolling, pixel-based mining, survival, crafting kind of thing. I think I've finally gotten to the point, Michael, where I'm just like, I need something special. Like, it can't just be another survival game.
No,
like,
a lot of these games keep becoming survival games, and I just don't really care about them.
Yeah.
Because the problem with survival games is that you have to go all in on each one for them to be good.
Of course, this is being published by Chucklefish, and I do generally like their stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's got that multiplayerness to it, so you have to really be into that idea.
Yeah, that's true. This was really interesting. A game called Rematch.
Yeah, this is interesting because of who's making it.
Yeah, so this is being made by the studio that made Sifu, and the character models kind of look like Sifu.
Yeah.
But it's soccer, It's kind of like what's the one with the cars? Rocket League.
Oh, Rocket League. Yeah.
I mean, it's not Rocket League.
I thought it was like human Rocket League at first. The first time I saw it.
Well, it's a soccer game, but there's like invisible walls on the outside, so like
because
you can't kick out of bounds.
Because that's how that's the reason it reminded me of Rocket League, because of how like high tech it looks, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I know if I said human Rocket League, that's just soccer.
right.
But like you have to be looking at it to really understand why it reminds me of that.
It's like Rocket League, but if you replace the cars with people that use their feet.
My thing is different. You're not understanding what I'm saying, GD.
Well, no, that's really. I think that works because that team is really good at like mechanical, making
very technical things.
Yeah,
and they're very good at that.
So I could very much see a system where it's like instead of just like press a button to pass, you've got kind of like high, mid, low, and modifiers and stuff.
I think what's also throwing me off is that it's the same art style as Sifu for the characters.
Yes, they have a very like the guy that they like highlight at the beginning has a face like the main character from Sifu. Yeah. So.
It's kind of crazy that like this art style is used for two very wildly different things.
I really like their games though. I liked the one before that, the where everybody wore the masks.
Oh,
it was like the Soulsy
Absolver.
Absolver, yeah,
that was
so. I'll probably check this out. I mean, again, it's is it weird that I'm actually more interested in playing an adversarial sports game than I am in playing like a co-op thief game.
It's because you keep watching soccer animes.
Shut up! Blue Lock rules. I don't care what they say about
now
the animation.
You're into it, Jeff.
I live within walking distance of a soccer stadium. I've never been there for a single game in my life.
I have, and I saw a shrieker.
Motherfuckers. And then last up on the pre-show, that's right, we're not even to the show yet. Solasta 2, I don't know what this is. It's some kind of RPG that was big on, like, it's a PC RPG.
I vaguely remember that name.
It's the trailer is kind of like, I don't know, it's like this lady, and they're like, how are you going to defeat us? And whatever. I don't know. I don't fucking know anything about this. It doesn't look like my kind of game. It's like a turn-based thing. Came out in 2021. No, thank you.
I generally don't remember anything about
it. We never played it. It's got pretty positive reviews on Steam. Good for you guys. It looks like a big old fantasy world. My dance card is pretty full right now. Who could say?
That's fair.
Early access 2025. Okay, so that was the pre-show. We're almost out of time. That was the pre-show. We're gonna have to go
so fast.
We're gonna go a little bit faster in the next one because there's some big stuff. And then there's some
very little stuff.
But you know what? Like, let's go through this just to get it out of the way, because I do feel like the one thing I feel bad about is giving short shrift to the actual people who won Game Awards.
We should talk about the people who won.
Let's roll down the list. So the big winner was Astrobot. Astrobot won Game of the Year,
which I'm very happy about, to be honest.
I'm a little torn because Astrobot is a great game, but it's
How dare you, Jeff? I'm just kidding.
It's also a very small game. It's very focused, and usually I think that Game of the Year tends to be more narrative games, bigger games. I'm not sure what that would mean. But
the problem is, I feel like there's not enough of those type of games even nominated this year.
I honestly think that the big problem I have with the Game Awards this year is that there were a lot of things I think got kind of shafted.
100%.
I think Dragon's Dogma 2 deserved a lot more acclaim than it got. That game is fucking weird. I think that stuff like Mouthwashing should have definitely made the list. That was a very interesting game. I
still don't think the DLC thing should have ever happened.
Well, it didn't win anything either. I'm like, you should have just fucking left it off.
Out of your way to do that.
You nominated Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. It won 0 awards.
Yeah,
cool. Thanks, guys.
Completely pointless.
Best game direction went to Astrobot. Best narrative was Metaphor ReFantazio.
Good for them, honestly.
Best art direction was Metaphor ReFantazio, which I get because that had a very distinct, this very strange and interesting art style. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got the best score.
I'm cool with that. I love that song. The soundtrack.
Best audio design went to Senua's Saga, which
I'm happy it won something, I guess.
Well, and also Melina Jurgens won best performance for Senua in Hellblade 2, and I was like, you won best performance for Senua in Hellblade 1. Like, I think
it's because of the amount of work they put into her performance stuff.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is still like behind a very specific type of character, where hers is like, there's more emotional stuff going on with her character. There's also the reason why that game is not exactly a game per se. Yeah. It's more like a movie, which I think is the reason why it has that issue.
You look at the other nominees were like the dude that played James in Silent Hill 2, which he was just doing James.
Yeah.
The lady from Star Wars Outlaws, which I can't comment on, but okay.
Yeah.
The lady from Life is Strange Double Exposure. Did anybody actually play that game? I don't
remember if anyone played it. I don't know who Brianna White played in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Aerith, I think.
Was it?
I think it was Aerith.
I don't know who the actors' names for that.
I sort of
one.
remember that. Innovations in accessibility is where my boy Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown got.
What a weird thing to win, by the way.
I don't even know what it did. Like, Games for Impact went to Neva.
I don't know what that is.
It was from the people that make Grease, the GRIS.
Is the world?
What's that?
Is the word?
Yes, Grease is the word. It was the lady, and then she had like a dog deer. Like companion.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, that was that one.
I didn't even know that came out.
Yep. Man and I played it. Best ongoing game went to Helldivers 2.
Of course it did, which is well deserved. By the way, I heard from the Helldivers people when they announced the DLC while people were watching the Game Awards, because they were watching in their Discord, the numbers just tanked of who was watching it because they all left to go play Helldivers 2 like immediately.
That's funny. Best community support went to Baldur's Gate 3, which is very well deserved. They put out so many updates.
100%.
Best independent game was Balatro. Best debut indie game was Balatro. Best mobile game was Balatro.
Good for them, really.
Best virtual reality VR AR was Batman Arkham Shadow.
I've heard really good things.
I've heard nothing but good stuff. Best action game went to Black Myth Wukong. Here's your crumbs. Get out of here.
I guess.
Best action adventure went to Astrobot. That one is, to me, a little bit, again, I don't really know, because I don't know. It's just like some of these games, like Echoes of Wisdom was a fucking good game.
That game deserved more than what it got.
Prince of Persia: Lost Crown was a fucking good game. Like, best role playing went to Metaphor ReFantazio. That's another one where I'm like, that
makes sense.
Problem here is I don't know, because I have a hard time evaluating 100-hour games. Best fighting went to Tekken 8.
I'm cool with that.
Did you watch Harada's speech? Where
I did not.
He like thanked everybody, and then he said, "Don't ask me for fucking anything." Like, and they just left. Like,
good for him. I love that.
Best simulation strategy was Frostpunk 2. Best sports racing was EA Sports FC 25. Best multiplayer went to Helldivers 2.
Nice.
And best adaptation was Fallout.
Also nice.
Which, like, I don't know, the best adaptation, the fact that they put that Knuckles thing even on there is like, you know, when the Academy Awards nominates movies, they don't put like Blood Rain on the.
Well, this just shows how little I think they made these adaptation things because of how well The Last of Us has done,
right,
and stuff. They're like, well, we need to be able to do that more.
I think it started with Arcane, didn't it? With like the first one.
Yeah, but Last of Us was also around that time.
Yeah,
so like
I think
the
next year.
I think that was the same time frame. So they're like, we should start doing more best adaptation stuff. And so Knuckles being on there is really funny to me.
It was really just Fallout and Arcane, because the other nominees were that was the Yakuza show, which even I haven't watched.
I didn't even know that Tomb Raider one came out.
And the Tomb Raider animated show on Netflix. Most anticipated game is a stupid category, so I'm not going to say who won, but it's the one you thought. And all the rest is esports game content creator.
Where everyone knows it's like Civilization 8 or whatever the fuck that PC Game Awards one was.
Civ 7? Dude, that was so stupid. That was so fucking stupid.
It's so dumb.
All right, let's see. We've got about 7 minutes. Let's see what we can do. They kicked it off with a bang this year with like a 5-minute Witcher 4
It is a whole story. It says a beginning, middle, and an end to it, basically.
Yep. It's like a young lady that's being that's gonna basically be like sacrificed to appease like the village elders, and then we have a hooded witcher who shows up, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a witcher!" And then the hood comes off, and it's Ciri from Witcher 3 as the new witcher. So She follows her
and
off.
the internet was very
woods.
cool about it.
Oh God, the internet was not cool about it. You guys, this is an understatement.
Shocked, Jeff. Shocked.
Yes. So, and then it's like this whole thing was done, I think, in Unreal. It was like a cutscene. She goes out, a monster shows up. Ciri shows up to tell her, like, go back to the village. I'll fight the monster. A fight ensues. She goes back to the village after killing the monster, and in typical Witcher 4,
It turns out it's man.
it was mad. The villagers killed the daughter because they're like, you were supposed to be the sacrifice. And then Ciri says something about him, and then they go. This is a little strange to me, Michael, because I never finished The Witcher 3.
I didn't either.
I never got even far enough to really understand who Ciri is. So I'm at a big loss of, like, this looks great, and I will play it. I will check it out. I can't guarantee I'll finish it, but it looks an awful lot like The Witcher, just with somebody who's not Geralt as the main character. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, it looks like a good time story wise, because again, we haven't seen anything gameplay wise. We don't even know how different she will be from Geralt when you actually use them.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like they probably will go that different, all things considered.
She got 2 swords. She drank a potion. She used a little magic powers.
She also is way more like, the thing that the trailer does show is that she plays more with the way she feels about things than the way Geralt did.
Yeah,
because Geralt was very much like I'm the neutral party in this situation. I'm here to help you, sort of, but even at the end of the day, I will murder some motherfucker because I feel like it.
Yeah.
Whereas Ciri in this trailer is very much like, no, you people are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, she's doing it for, I would say, the right reasons is the good way of putting it.
Yep.
Whereas Geralt was very much like, this is my job.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so I think that's what's going to be the main difference story-wise.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like, this was a great trailer. It was great. It was a wonderful way to kick off the show. It was great to remind everybody that, like, we're past Cyberpunk, so, like, The Witcher is the next fucking thing that we're going to be getting.
Yeah.
It was great to remind everybody, hey, we remember that Ciri is a thing. Hey, The Witcher is brutal and violent and gory and dark and all the shit you guys like.
It also means that this game is closer than we probably think, because they said after Cyberpunk, we learned our lesson, we're not going to show you anything,
right,
so we feel like we're in a good pace.
Yes,
so that means that this will be closer than we thought.
There was a few, I don't know if you were on the show for it, but there have been a few stories that have come out where, like, we saw the retasking of, like, the Cyberpunk team once that got fixed last year.
Yeah,
that it's like, okay, Witcher 4 is in, like, full development, right? It's got, like, the full court press in it. So
yeah, they want all in.
But yeah, I mean, this is great. I'm not a Witcher guy, but that looks great. I'll give it a shot. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they learn their lesson from Cyberpunk and they'll put out something that's doesn't take a 2 years, 3 years to fix.
But Witcher 3 still took a long time to fix even then.
That's true.
So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this plays out.
That is true. Right. So this is where I get to exercise my executive privilege and say that I am going to put Elden Ring on ice until we come back from the break, because I have like 25 minutes worth of things to say about it. And then we're also going to skip some of these. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC.
Yeah, it's coming to PC, which is good for them.
Wait, what the fuck is this? I got the wrong link, apparently. Oh, this was... Really? Oh, okay.
Was that just the Helldivers one?
No, it was this game called Catly.
Oh, that one. That was a weird trailer.
We can kind of finish up with Catly here, because Catly was a very, very, very strange trailer. Some very, like, detailed, kind of almost photorealistic looking cats, but then they all have, like, neon eyes and weird hair, and, like,
yeah, some of them feel more like ocelots and shit like that, like the weird big cat type ears and stuff. Like, they don't just seem like normal cats.
No, but they're very realistic looking, and they're just kind of blapping around in this weird world full of pillows and glitter and stars, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm pretty sure it's not for me. Like,
yeah, I was like, I thought it was just a cat game, but then it cuts to like a lady doing poses randomly,
right,
and then confused me even further,
right, and you're like, wait, is this a VR game? is this a phone game?
And then it shows what it's on, and it's like
on Steam and the Apple Watch.
And then like Switch all of a sudden. Like it feels like almost like it's afraid to tell you it's on the Switch until the last second. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's very weird. Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Apple Watch in 2025.
An upcoming interactive open world adventure game.
Starring beautiful hyper-realistic cats. Catly is a love letter to cats made for cat lovers by cat lovers.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Great. Good for you. I guess Tessa's going to be on that one.
Yup.
Fuck this.
Yup. All right, and then you know what? We don't have time. We don't have time.
Okay.
All right. So Catly was enough of a seat filler. Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and we come back. Everybody's going to listen to me talk about fucking Elden Ring because I got things to say about fucking Elden Ring. So stick around, and we'll see you in a minute. And we're back. Okay, Michael. It's time you got to listen to me talk about Elden Ring for a little while.
I'm just going to nap real quick. Just wake me up when you're done.
So this trailer was really weird because it was like 1 week ago we had all these news about like we're not doing any more DLC for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring 2 is maybe someday in the future, but not anytime now.
We're not sure we're ever going to go back kind of thing.
Right. And then like this thing started and it was like, oh, this is a FromSoft game. Wait, that's Limgrave. What the fuck? Wait, that's Elden Ring. Like I recognize these places kind of. What in the name of actual fuck is going on here? And the answer is a game called Elden Ring Night Rain. So first, let me describe this game. This is a game where you play as it's a three-player PvE game where it's a co-op game.
Yeah.
So you play as a team of 3 players, and you play over the course of 2 days. And there is like there's the world, and it's randomized, or like it's kind of randomized.
Okay.
It's like the world is the layouts, the terrain is somewhat the same each time, but the monster placement is different. There's also like terrain effects. You'll get like they show like a lava thing in here. Where there'll be different stuff to kind of spice it up. And then what you're doing over the course of 2 days is you're basically like leveling up during the day. And at the end of each day, there's like a boss fight, and then you rest, and then you go to the next day, and you do the next day. Each day takes like 15 to 20 minutes or something. So it's not a huge thing. There is a giant contracting ring a la Fortnite that to keep you from like just having to corral you into like the next section of the map.
Yeah, it doesn't want you just like dicking around, I guess.
Yep. And then at the end of those days, you fight a big boss. So you fight the big boss. During those course of those days, you can level up. You can get more equipment. You can expand your skills. The skill / progression system has been very simplified. Like you have 6 weapon slots. There are no more weapon like stat requirements because some weapons have like passive bonuses where you could have like a great sword that you're not even using, but you keep it in your inventory because it gives you a plus 20% defense or something. The characters all play dramatically differently. Like they have very specific like attributes and powers. Like
it's a class thing, basically.
Yeah. So you're not creating a character. You're choosing a character, one of several pre-made characters that have specific stats, and then you'll have skills that can level up. There's an interesting thing where if you die, you know how when you die in like a multiplayer game, like you've got to run over to a guy and you hold down a button and then it brings him back to life.
Yeah.
Here, apparently, you have to attack the downed player, and then that's what brings them back to life. So you're not like stopping the action.
So weird, yeah.
You're just like wailing on your friends.
Get your ass up.
Yeah. This is coming out in 2025. This is going to be a smaller thing, and I think that a lot of people are under. So this is the impression that I get, and I'll just tell you. I think a lot of people think that this is because this is not being directed by Miyazaki.
No.
I think a lot of people think that this is Bandai Namco is making FromSoft make a battle royale style or extraction or whatever style game in order to try to get revenue. But I don't think that's right, because there are 2 things about Elden Ring that people who don't play Elden Ring may not know. One is that you cannot play co-op Elden Ring through a level.
No.
Co-op is for bosses, not for like the entire level. Now you could do that in Dark Souls, and people really miss that. There's mods and all kinds of cheats and shit to be able to do that.
No.
2, one of the most popular mods for Elden Ring are randomizer mods that basically randomize the placement of all the enemies, so you can start the game and the first enemy you come across could be Melania.
Yeah.
And this seems like it factors into both of those things, right? You want to be able to play with your friends. You want to be able to do something that's random each time. This is like a version of Elden Ring that is tailor-made for that. But then there's also a lot of really weird shit, Michael, because, you know, you see this centipede guy? That's like a Dark Souls boss.
That was the thing I was going to say. I don't remember some of these bosses even being in this game.
Yeah, the guy flying on the dragon, that's a Dark Souls 3 boss. Like, that's not just like it's got the same moveset. That's specifically a Dark Souls 3 boss. Yeah. Yes, the Nameless King. That is a specific boss from a specific other FromSoft game. So it also seems like they're going to be doing, because they've said that this doesn't fit into the same timeline as Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
That it's like a kind of a spin-off thing.
Some kind of Spider-Verse is what you're saying, Joe.
Yeah. Well, so then the question that I think everybody has is like, okay, so you've got Dark Souls 3 bosses, you've got Dark Souls 1 bosses. Do you have Bloodborne bosses?
That would be cool.
Do you have Demon Souls bosses?
I'm curious as to what's going to happen with this game.
Do you have Sekiro bosses? So like
that would be an interesting idea.
Do you have Armored Core bosses? No, yeah, of course they don't have Armored Core bosses.
That would be the funniest fucking thing imaginable.
You just come around to what's his name?
Like you're still the same size as you are, and the fucking fucking Armored Core is like to scale to you.
Yeah,
it'd be so fucking funny.
So here's the thing. I think this looks like the tits. I'm really a big fan of developers trying shit they've never done before. I think that FromSoft has a reputation for quality, even if what they're making doesn't appeal to me. Like, they put out that Daracine, remember that PSVR game?
Yeah.
That was like, I didn't really play it, but it was apparently got very good reviews. And I don't want them to get trapped just making... You know, a lot of people wanted Dark Souls 4. I want an Armored Core 6 too.
Yeah. And I want a Metal Wolf Chaos 2.
And Michael wanted Metal Wolf Chaos like a crazy person.
Yeah. That's their best game, Jeff.
But this is something completely different. It's just like off the rails crazy pants.
It was not what I expected from them at all. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is another Elden Ring game. But then it was a multiplayer game. I was like, that's just... because based on the way their servers have acted, this is a bold move on their end.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think that I'm glad that FromSoft is financially stable and that they don't seem to be too bothered by the internet, because people are going to hate this game. There's going to be like a huge backlash on this game. It doesn't matter how good it is. It's not Elden Ring 2. It's not a Miyazaki game. It's not an RPG. People will get pissy about it.
Well, they're going to, because a lot of these people are the same. Well, the same thing that we've mentioned a lot of times that we've said, which is that they're single player people.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm the guy who's going to beat this on a Guitar Hero controller.
Right.
Blindfolded, underwater, wearing chains or some shit. Like just weird shit like that.
Yeah.
But they're now like, now you have to talk to another person. They're like, I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, and they're gonna react poorly to it.
Hey man, I'll be honest with you, like I'm not a multiplayer guy, but hold on. I got to make a correction. I think that was. Yeah, I think I misidentified something. I think I was looking at Duke's Dear Freya from Dark Souls 2, not the Scorpion Centipede Demon from Dark Souls 1. Or I could be wrong. Anyway,
I almost thought you were going to say the Scorpion King. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson is
Dwayne Johnson's totally
the boss of this game.
Totally this game. But like the
hierarchy of power in the Elden Ring is going to change.
Look, the thing here is that From Software, I like their games, right? Yeah. All fanboying aside, like I do a lot of my what am I going to play based on a cold calculation of like, have I enjoyed the last 3 games that this company has put out? Yes. Then I'll play whatever the fuck they put out. Yeah. I don't give a hell. I don't like. It doesn't matter to me. I'll give it a shot. It may not be my thing. I applaud them for taking a chance, and I think that like And I also think that we could be surprised because FromSoft is also notorious lying fucks.
It's true.
Like, they just told us that there wasn't going to be any more Elden Ring DLC or Elden Ring 2. Like, but we didn't say anything about Elden Ring spin-off games now, did we?
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Or, like, for the Shadow of the Erdtree, Miyazaki said, like, oh, it'll be about the size of Limgrave. And it was like, well, yes, that's true, but it's also 4 Limgraves stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't lying.
Technically, you weren't lying. So, I think there's some interesting, like, it could be interesting to see them doing multiverse, because here's the thing, Michael, I don't think they're just going to bring in bosses from Dark Souls 3 and have no explanation for it. Like,
that's true.
The whole fucking company is based on lore and crazy lore. Like, they even talked about how when you're playing the game, you go back to the round table hold in between matches, and you can talk to all of the characters there, and they all have story progression that you can do with them. So there's going to be a story. It's not just like fucking Fortnite or
no. That's
something.
the thing. That's the thing that I'm going to find the most interesting is that what is going to be the story that everybody finds within the game?
Yes,
because none of these games have ever just sat down and was like, "Here's how the story went." These people are going to play together. They're going to be looking through every nook and cranny they can before the fire engulfs them.
Yep.
That's going to slowly happen. And we're going to find out a lot more about this world than we anticipated.
Yep. I mean, I was like skeptical about Armored Core 6 before it came out because I wasn't an Armored Core fan. I fucking think that game deserved a shot at Game of the Year last year. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I really want to play it. Also, ooh, this might finally be a way to get people like you or Jason or other people I know to play Dark Souls games. If I could fucking come in and carry you motherfuckers and show you how the game works.
Yeah, every time I play one of them, I give up. Pretty not quickly, but I give up after hours and hours, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah,
the only one I never did that with was Bloodborne.
Yeah, well, it's shorter, but
I think it was more because I really loved its world.
Yeah,
and I kept using a whip the entire game.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I want to see what happens. I still wish it was Armored Core 6.2, but you know what? I've also learned over the years of being a person that like you don't always get what you want.
True.
Let's see. From there, we got the next Fumito Ueda project. People might recognize that name as the guy that made The Last Guardian, Ico, and Shadow of the Colossus.
This thing is fascinating.
And strangely enough, okay, Michael, you tell me if you got the same read. I was like, is this Shadow of the Colossus 2?
That's what it felt like.
Because it's like a guy that climbs up the back of like a giant
but like a future
mech
version of it.
Yeah, like a Colossus that has like mech parts on it. But then also the character is wearing like a serape
like
or something.
Thing, yeah.
That looks a lot like the Eco fucking Shadow Colossus stuff. And so he climbs up this huge like mech all the way to its head, and there's like this countdown that's happening, and then when the shockwave comes, the head blasts off like Gurren Lagann style.
Yeah. And it explodes. Like there's just so much happening that I want to know the answers to.
Yeah.
But it does remind me of like the climbing from Shadows of the Colossus, as well as the fact that it is a giant Colossus type thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's like a future world instead.
So,
and I have to know what this is about,
because he's never made one of those. They're all like these kind of weird medieval style worlds.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so like, what are you planning here, man?
What is happening here? Is this Shadow of the Colossus, but we get to drive the Colossus?
Maybe.
Because that guy, like, with the way that he does control schema, it's like, oh, that could be really interesting if it was like, what if it was like, God, Matt, pretend like you can't hear me. Robot Alchemic Drive, was that the one where you would, like, use the sticks to move, like, the arms and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, it could be something like that.
Something like that.
But whatever it is, I don't know. It was a very short teaser. I want to know more.
I definitely want to know more, especially because, like we said, it's a world that we haven't seen them play with.
Yeah,
something with anything that involves electricity, really.
right. Yeah, everything is kind of like is
it's
like
a magical world or
Bronze
that kind of
Age
thing.
or something. Yeah.
This guy clearly has what looks kind of like a gun.
Yep.
On his back,
like a helmet.
He's
like
climbing a
helmet.
giant robot.
Yep.
And then gets fucking blasted off into after a giant shockwave destroys this robot. It's just fascinating.
It's also very strange to me because it's like he spends all this time flying this giant robot or climbing this giant robot, and then he makes the head take off as its own independent little like flying machine, and then the body just gets wrecked by the shockwave that comes below it.
The weirdest part about the head flying off is it doesn't detach the way you expect it to detach, like a Power Ranger thing.
Yeah.
It's like ripping out its
rips the spine. Yeah. It's like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, I don't know. But
it's like an escape pod situation. I don't know. It's very weird.
Dude's good at big old monsters, so I don't know. It looks interesting. Tell me more.
Can't wait to find out more.
Anytime you want to tell me more, I'll be more than happy to listen.
No titles, though. That's the most interesting part of it.
Outer Worlds 2?
This was a fun trailer.
It was. It was just a lot more Outer Worlds.
It was. And just them being like, look, we've made good sequels in the past.
Yep.
And this is the first time we made a sequel that involves... just an original idea.
Yeah. No, they had a little thing at the beginning where they talk about it's like from the creators of Knights of the Old Republic 2 and like
Neverwinter Night 2
and Fallout 3. The sequel, the one.
I think it just says 2, and it just made me laugh. That was the one that made me laugh because we technically made the sequel to Fallout 3.
Yeah,
and so it looks like it looks like a good time still.
It looks like the Outer Worlds, but way more.
Yeah,
way more detailed. Like it's obviously using either a better or just sharper engine. It's like bigger looking areas. There's like some some just violence and stuff, and that kind of strange. What is it like? Art Deco futurism that they had in the previous game.
It's like space Bioshock almost in many ways.
Yeah, and it just everything about it looks really good. Like all of the graphics are nice and sharp and crisp, and like they look real cool, and they've got the good art style to them. So
it's very exciting. Like if you like the first one, you're gonna like the second one. Is what, and even the way the trailer is like, look, we even put all the stuff that should have been in the first one into this one,
right?
Because they're just showing like, hey, it's the first one, but even with way more than you even had before.
Yeah,
and that's a great thing.
And apparently, it's coming out in 2025. So
is this still an exclusive? By the way, do we still know that?
I don't think so. You know what? There was an article that came out. I didn't read it. I saw a headline where it was like an Xbox executive saying they're just not going to do any more console exclusives like from here on out.
Because that was the thing about this one. Because the first one, there it is. It says PS5,
Steam, PS5.
Everybody was like, the second one's not going to come out for the PS5 because they released that complete version for PS5, and they're like, well, what do we do with that if we can't even play the next one?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're smart enough to realize, look, here's the deal, guys. Like, we want money.
No, it's so funny because we spent an entire year with the acquisition talking about whether Microsoft would withhold games for the console, and it turns out that no, they won't because their bottom line can't handle it. They have to have the other console and PC sales in order to make up for their shit ass console sales.
It turns out the one thing the FCC did not think about was the fact that Xbox doesn't have enough money.
Was the thing that Microsoft failed as a company to put out a decent console this generation.
It is the greatest way that story could have ended.
Yeah. Damn, it looks good though. Nice. Just like a lot of the lighting and shading and the character models and stuff just look very fantastic. Very nice.
I can't wait to see how it plays on the other consoles.
From there we have Joseph Ferris's next game.
God, I love him so much.
He's so great. He got up, he gave a little speech, and it was great about just like but yeah, it's called Split Fiction. And basically it's like there's some kind of weird futuristic thing where you get inside of a ball of light or something that like amps up your creativity or something, and one of the characters jumps into the same ball as another character, and so one of them is a science fiction writer and the other one is a fantasy writer, and so then the world is going to switch back and forth between science fiction and fantasy. By the way, I should note this is from the guy that made It Takes Two and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, so it's very focused on co-op.
Yes.
And going through a bunch of different levels where you're going to switch between medieval and between fantasy and sci-fi, and it looks like it's got a crazy sense of humor. It also looks like there's some kind of dark secret in the heart of this thing.
Yeah, there's like some nefarious shit going on in the outside world because they are trapped in. It's like it's the equivalent of as if Jeff and Matt got stuck in a VR simulator basically. Like they both have
Why
very
me and
wild.
Matt?
Well, because it's like as if you were in the middle of playing Elden Ring and then his like Godzilla shit happened in the middle of it, kind of thing. Yeah. And also, you guys did do It Takes Two.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, they had a few examples of like levels where like you have like you have these dragons that over the course of the level they grow up and they start with like smaller powers, and then as they go on and on they get bigger and bigger. Also, gotta just say, I really like the Outer Worlds 2 and this both to me reek of not Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, 100%.
They just look very crisp and colorful and none of that jaggy nanite bullshit, which I'm really starting to hate Unreal Engine 5. Like,
they're all starting to you're starting to realize what each one looks like the same after a while.
Yeah,
but the other thing I really like about it is that it shows that even though there's different gameplay types, sometimes the other person's doing a whole other version of the game.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That was like what It Takes Two was about.
And there was like, and there's some stuff that's clearly like, you know, inspired by other games. Like there's this one moment that happens that's clearly inspired by Donkey Kong, and then there's another moment that's like, oh, that's clearly like a kind of Metroid idea. But then there's stuff that you're like, this is just batshit fucking insane,
like and the pigs and sausages.
And I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with it. And I like it in the trailer that he's just like, by the way, this is the whole game. None of that fucking like multi-transaction shit, like this other stuff. He's like, this is the fucking game. I'm like, my God, man, you're just the best. I love you.
Well, you know what? Like, fucking It Takes Two won Game of the Year. What was it? 2022?
2021, I think.
21?
And he was drunk as shit.
Yep.
When he accepted the award, and it was amazing.
Yep. It was awesome. It looks great. This guy's such a character. He's very charming. I hope it doesn't turn out that he's like some kind of creepo in the future.
Here's the main thing is that I think he's one of the few people that you're like, he's an outwardly like, if you're gonna find out something fucked up, it's because I told you.
It's because I just said it at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Like for some reason.
Like I'm just gonna come out.
Or
like
put it in my video game.
Like I'm drunk as shit at all times. Like is what he looks like.
Very true.
And I can't help but love him for it.
Let's see. We got the world premiere trailer for Steel Hunters. So we're kind of getting out of the big stuff and into the slightly smaller stuff.
It looked interesting enough, but it's very much a story type trailer.
This is from Wargaming, so this is like World of Tanks, World of Ships. This is World of Mechs.
Yeah.
Like it's just that. It's just World of Mechs.
And there's a beta or something right now.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody about it recently, and they were like, it's okay, but they were expecting a little more from it, I think is what they said.
I'm really tired of every mech game being an online multiplayer game.
Yes.
I want more single-player mech games, and they're just not giving them to me.
The beta also apparently has its own battle pass right now.
Yeah.
It's just strange. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping the people who are playing it are having fun, but I'm hearing very mixed things so far.
I mean, World of Tanks is the game that like charges for ammo.
Yes,
so I'm like, no, thank you.
At least in this case, they don't have to worry about people fighting over military secrets about how awesome their tank is compared to another tank.
It's very true.
Unless
it looks fine, but it's multiplayer. I'm not going to be into it. So
that's fair.
The Long Dark 2 was a world premiere. World Long Dark 2 Black Frost.
This was that multiplayer one, right?
Yeah, it's a survival multiplayer game. And this one is very much the same. It just looks like more of the same. So,
which I remember people liking it. it wasn't for me.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it looks okay. Like, it's not really my kind of game.
It's just one of those worlds that like I find interesting, but never enough to really play these games.
Yeah, agreed. Well, hey, I tell you what'll get you excited, Michael. Borderlands 4.
Yeah, because Randy Pitchford's like our god or whatever.
Yeah. I sometimes feel really disappointed whenever I do this show because it's like, yep, that's a Borderlands game right there.
Yeah, it's Borderlands, all right.
Looks like Borderlands. Looks like a slightly higher resolution Borderlands than the last Borderlands.
Well, what I like about this trailer is that it's like, hey, by the way, like we have to remember that this is still a galaxy of other people.
Yeah.
So I like the idea that like, hey, the crazy people from the Borderlands world now are being invaded by like a clearly technologically superior like army,
right?
And I'm curious to see how that works in the actual story. And we also did get to see more of the actual like characters, one that were from the past games showing up, returning, as well as like the new Vault Hunters, I guess, as well.
Who showed up from the previous games?
There was that one guy. He was the I think he was like the assassin guy from the last game. He has like long hair in this version. Like I'll tell you when he pops up right now.
Huh. Okay.
He's from one of the newer ones. I think he was from the third one.
Yeah.
Because I remember him being one of the ones that you're like, this guy's kind of neat, but that guy right there.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember him specifically, and I don't remember some of these other ones. Because I think it's the passing of the torch of the third to the fourth.
Right.
The way one went to 2 and then 2 went to 3.
I don't know. I played 2.
But I just wish I liked Borderlands still.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I played 2, and by the end, I was kind of over it. Then I played the pre-sequel, and I was like, I'm still over it. Then I played 3 all the way to the end of the game, and I was like, that's it? That's all? That was Borderlands 3?
I'm amazed.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I didn't even hear good things about Borderlands 3, but honestly, it just keeps showing that they don't know what to do outside of Borderlands.
Well, in my mind, they just keep making the same fucking game or something worse, like the Tiny Tina like spin-off game.
Well, that's what I mean, though. Like, it's all just Borderlands at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's never a point where I feel like... And then we announced that we're making an actual normal game that isn't just Borderlands that Randy Pitchford's been smoking cocaine from or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... I feel like... I'm just annoyed that, like, they have rights to things... probably that they just aren't doing anything with or coming up with original ideas that with the stuff they have, because I would love to see another game type made with this art style. Like I would love that, but they're just never going to, and that really bums me out.
For me it's that I'm sorry, they just keep making the exact same game. It just I mean, like, and I wasn't all that interested in it when it was Borderlands 1 and it was brand new, and they just keep doing that, and I wouldn't put up with that from anybody else, and I don't know why I would put up with that. Not only that, but like there's a part in this trailer where they show like a bunch of guns like raining down with different like colors, and it's like I'm over that too. I'm over the loot pinata. Fuck the loot pinata. Give me the loot I want. Don't give me the I'm tired of the RNG Diablo style horse shit where it's like, don't you want to grind over and over again to get the right rocket launcher? And I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want to do that.
Well, it's more annoying because whenever they do the loot pinata, you end up with like 1,000 guns on the ground. And you're like, well, one of these has to be good. So you're just picking up fucking hundreds of these things, and you're just like, eh.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really been interested for a while. And the movie didn't do anything to help.
No, the movie really killed it for everybody.
Yeah. So, that's Borderlands 4. Fuck your mother. Speaking of fucking your mother, Clive Rosenfeld.
What does that mean?
Clive Rosefield, the main character of Final Fantasy 16. He's a motherfucker.
He hates his mom. There's that.
Yeah, he tells his mom to go fuck herself.
This game is this Tekken 8. I bless them for adding the weirdest fucking guest characters they had.
They did this whole thing with Clive from Final Fantasy 16, and we were all in the chat like, "Oh God, are they putting out new DLC? Are they? What is happening?" Nope. Tekken. You're putting him in Tekken.
The funniest thing is that I watched part of a reaction video for this.
Yeah.
And when he first pops up, the way he moved, the Maximilian dude was like, "This is Tekken 8." Like immediately he knew what was going on, and then it got confirmed. And honestly, good for Tekken 8 for continuing the thing they've been doing with the other Tekken games. Or what if we just got weird fucking characters to fight each other?
It's real fucking weird.
This is, I think, the second or third Final Fantasy character they've added to Tekken now.
Really?
Because the last one I think had Noctis, the guy from Final Fantasy 15.
Oh right, that was when they were putting Noctis in everything.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that guy.
And so it's like, oh, this is they're continuing that weird tradition too.
And they're putting Clive and everything.
Also, I really like Clive. I like Clive a lot, though. To be honest,
I like Clive too, but there were a lot of other characters from Final Fantasy 16 that would have made more sense than Clive. So,
oh no, here's the thing: is any character in Final Fantasy is a weird addition to this game.
You know,
but this is also Tekken, and Tekken has gone off the deep end a long time ago.
Look, they should have put in the guy that was a big brawler guy that literally had the butt metal in his fucking boss.
The Titan guy?
Boss stage.
I would have been cool. I would have been cool with that guy.
And are there just two two Ifrits fighting each other in the background?
Yeah, because that's from that level where you fight, where he accepts that he's Ifrit, so he fights the dark Ifrit in his mind, I guess.
Okay,
to become one with Ifrit, because that's just what the stage is.
Some silly bullshit. I don't know. I think
I remember Final Fantasy 16 better than Jeff does. Is really what it comes down to.
Real silly bullshit. Oh no, I remember parts of it, but my brain couldn't be fucked to keep most of that information in my head. So,
but I'm happy for them. But I can't wait to see who else and he's pretty much out by the time this comes out.
Yeah,
or at least for if you have the pass.
Yep. Let's see. We saw another trailer for Splitgate 2. This is the second trailer I've seen for Splitgate 2.
Yeah.
Splitgate 2 was the PvP with portals.
It was the Halo game that became a Portal game.
Yeah,
that could. Because I remember the first when they made that first one, it was just copyright infringement the video game as hard as possible.
It was fun. I looked it up. We played it for a Sunday stream back when we used to do that.
Very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember every character looked like they were from Halo, and everything was just like portals.
Yep.
And then they figured out how to make it less copyright infringement and I think that's what the sequel is more than anything.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more character, and it's definitely doing its thing. Like, where else are you going to go to play a game where you have portals?
You have to really be thinking in ways that you normally wouldn't, which is what I find the most fascinating about the game.
Yeah,
because I just couldn't wrap my head around it correctly, which is why I just never really got into it.
Fuck, I'm watching this trailer. I can't understand what's going on in it.
It's crazy. It's one of the few times where somebody says, "Now you're thinking with portals," legitimately makes sense.
Yeah,
you have to actually think that way.
I'm going to fast forward through a few things. Well, a little bit. Mecha Break. There was a Mecha Break trailer that showed off a few different game modes. Mecha Break makes me sad, so I have a hard time talking about it.
Well, it's another instance of what you said, where it's like I would love to play another normal mech game, but it's not.
But not an online multiplayer one.
Exactly.
This one looks fucking great. Like, all the trailers look wonderful, but it's like, oh, but I want to fight the AI, not like other people. So
yeah, it's really annoying that we don't get a lot of normal mech games anymore.
Yeah, still looks good though. I mean, and that's coming. That's coming out like spring, so not too long. Let's see. We got the world premiere for a new Virtua Fighter.
This was very exciting because we haven't got a Virtua Fighter in a long time.
Seems kind of weird to have Tekken 8 and then Mecha Break and then Virtua Fighter. I maybe would have turned that.
I think it's because they want them all separate enough from each other, kind of thing.
You'll have to talk about Virtua Fighter, Michael, because the last one was like, what, 8 years ago? Or
it was
something?
A very long time
10
ago.
Years ago?
The Virtua Fighter series, it's one of the most technical fighting game series imaginable.
Yep.
With a character that is both generic but also very distinct at the same time.
Right.
And so the fact that they're finally going back to Virtua Fighter is actually very exciting, just because fighting games are on the rise, and I'm very excited about that.
2006? That can't be right, can it?
It was a very long time ago.
Holy shit!
Virtua Fighter. We haven't seen Virtua Fighter in years.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we can glean from this trailer?
The main thing that we can glean so far is that the main character's back, but he's wearing a much different outfit, of course.
Okay.
And the fact that it's that it's back. That's really what it comes down to. And we see some small gameplay for it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to glean from that other than it looks like it's going to be very gorgeous.
It looks like Virtua Fighter.
I can't wait to find out more. But I know I'm not as excited as a lot of other fighting game people, only because Virtua Fighter was never really my game either.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons the game didn't really take off after a certain point, because it was so technical that a lot of people got turned off from it.
Yeah.
It also is notorious for getting ringed out very fucking easily.
That's true.
So, yeah.
I remember when that shit first started. I remember buying one of the Virtua Fighters a long time ago. It might have been like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to learn how to play this game. And then I started looking at what it takes to play the game, and I was like, no, I'm not. No, thank you. So it looks like they had a bigger show about it that we didn't see on December 13th.
Oh, okay.
Which was the day after the Game Awards. So, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more to it. I just haven't looked at it yet.
From there, we saw Project Century, which is the next game from, I guess the Ryu, what's his face? What is the name of that company?
The guy who
Ryu Gotoku that is also making Virtua Fighter. They're making this kind of what is like turn of the century.
Oh, this game, yeah.
Open world, 1915. Kind of think Kung Fu Hustle a little bit, like style game.
Yeah, a little bit. It's very interesting. It was another one of those games that I found interesting because I want to see more about what it is outside of this very cinematic trailer type thing.
Yeah, I was just the thing that I was I didn't really zone in on this because this is when I was coming back from buying cigarettes, but the thing that confused me about it, Michael, was that there wasn't a point where it zooms out and shows the main character is Kiryu Kazama. So I was like,
yeah, you're so used to that. Would it be him in this time frame probably?
Well, they made the fucking samurai one, right? Like,
that's true.
They don't have a problem just throwing that guy in other places, but this appears to be like a brand new character. So
yeah, and it looks great. It still looks fantastic.
Also, it's very violent.
Oh, super violent.
Very violent.
Which is different from the way Yakuza is in some ways, depending on what's going on, at least.
Yeah.
There's just blood flying everywhere.
So, yeah, it's called Project Century.
Which I'm sure we'll get another title, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't even show the main character. They show him at the end, but like during the gameplay, they don't really even show his face. So I'm not entirely sure, like what the deal is, because they're very specific with protagonists, right? Between Kiryu and the guy from Judgment and the guy from the Like a Dragon series. So
yeah, everybody's very distinct.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what's going on with this whenever we find out more.
Yep. So yeah. Let's see. Turok is back.
This is probably the weirdest trailer I feel of this entire thing because I have zero fucking idea what's going on in it.
Well, it's a bunch of
even
Turoks.
as somebody who's played Turok.
The Turoks are fighting the dinosaurs, Michael. The dinosaurs and the Turoks, they're natural enemies. They're fighting each other.
Yeah, but they're all like wearing weird scientific shit, and they're like, but it's also got origins. Yeah. So I'm just that much more confused as to what's happening.
Didn't you and I play that Turok 3 game where you're like warping through time and shit?
We did, but you know what I mean. Like it's like the idea that like I generally have no idea what the fuck's happening.
Would you rather? What's the one where they're all like special forces guys? What was that one?
I don't even remember.
So the thing I didn't really understand as much about this, or the thing that actually gives me a little bit of strange hope for this, because I have no dog in the Turok fight. I've never played any of them.
I haven't played them in years.
I bought the comic when it first came out.
Oh, you did?
Like the Valiant comic, Turok Dinosaur Hunter. This is being made by Saber.
Yeah.
So it's the people that made Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Oh,
and it's also a third-person action game that's going to be made to be played co-op, and they show 3 characters here. So, you know, Saber they did a really good job with Space Marine 2, so hopefully that gives people a little bit more leniency on evaluating. I don't know, it's such a weird franchise where it's like, who knows? Who the fuck even knows?
It really is a who the fuck knows, because Turok has never really been... It has the fact that it was a big franchise for even like a hot minute is very surprising to this day.
It's very weird. But yeah, as a third-person co-op action game versus dinosaurs as opposed to Tyranids, I can see it. I can see it working.
I can see it working.
Yep.
Hopefully it turns out good.
See, I'm going to be trying to get people to play Elden Ring, and then you and Matt are going to go play Turok behind my back.
No, I'm good. I don't think I want either of. I don't want any part of any of this. The rest of development, I'm like, I don't want any of this.
Oh wait, what the fuck? Did I close a window? I think I closed a window because next up was the Helldivers. Oh wait, got it.
This one I did see. The Helldivers one I did see the presentation for.
Yes,
because John Helldiver himself was there.
Yeah, this is the guy that's in the
the intro.
Cinematic from the
actual actor.
The My Liberty guy.
Which I think I love the fact that they got him to be to like dress up as a Helldiver.
Came out as a Helldiver to tell people all about how they need to help defend Super Earth.
And the subreddit just calls him John Helldiver.
So yeah, this is the announcement of the Illuminate.
Yeah, the Illuminate are finally here.
Yep.
And everybody fucking went out to murder them as hard as they could.
Yeah, apparently they trashed their entire incursion in like 48 hours or something. Like,
it was the first time in like a while that like over 100,000 Helldivers were all on a single planet, and they almost barely didn't fucking win. It was crazy.
Yeah. Also, they're putting warthogs in Helldivers.
What's amazing about this trailer is them being like, everybody's working together to do things.
Yeah.
And there's so much friendly fire in this trailer that it just makes it that much funnier. Because there's a part where they're like, we'll do it together, and one of the guys gets clearly gunned down by the warthog.
Right.
This guy, right here. Yeah. It's just so fucking funny.
No, they know what they're doing.
It shows everything about how they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that the Helldivers community they rallied up together when all this stuff came out. They're like, oh, we're back, guys. We're so back. And I'm so happy for that community.
I love the one guy where there's like 4 people and then one of them just runs away.
Because he's like, fuck this shit. But it's very exciting for every Helldiver who's still playing the game, so I'm very happy for those guys.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I'm glad that Helldivers has managed to last for like a year.
Yeah,
almost a full year. So
it's not that so much I never went back. It's just that there's so many things that came out, and I didn't feel like I needed to be tied down by one game. But for those communities that are into it, I'm very happy for you guys.
I don't need a forever game.
I don't.
I want a lot of different games.
The other reason is that like I for a game for me to keep that going is I need somebody to be like, hey, I have a group of people, we're going to do this every specific day.
Right.
Like that would keep me playing a game like that.
Yeah. Also, this was and that update is out right now.
Yeah. And like, as I mentioned earlier, every Helldiver who was watching this live on their Helldiver Discord, like 90% of them just like left to go play Helldivers too.
Yep. Let's see. From there, we got the Warframe. This is the Warframe 1999 world premiere trailer. I've seen a lot of Warframe 1999.
We have seen a lot. I think it's just that this is like the first time this trailer has been shown.
But one of the things that they did do with this was they had a release date, which was the day after the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Now, strangely, I was like, oh, I've been interested to try out 1999 because, like, it looks kind of cool. It looks interesting and different than normal Warframe. So then I went online and I was like, okay, how do I start Warframe 1999? And they're like, you play the entire game. Like, you must be at the end game of Warframe
really?
to start this DLC. And I was like, well, fuck you guys for like, is there like a fast forward to the end so I can play the war? And they're like, nope, you got to play like 80 hours of Warframe. And so I went online to Reddits, and it was that bullshit where I found Reddits where people were like, how do I start playing Warhammer 1999? I just downloaded the game today. And they're like, oh, well, you have to play the entire game to get there. It's like 120 hours, but don't worry, it's super worth it and you'll love it. And I was like, eat my dick, you fucks. Like,
honestly, it's just more annoying because there's all these trailers for it that make it seem like a brand new thing that you can play from the get-go, and it's just not.
Yep.
And that's very, not evil, but it's just very annoying.
They've got their own, like, they've got a pop band in there, and like...
because even when Destiny had that idea, there was like, packs that you could buy that were like, here's the upgrade your levels to that thing so you can go straight there.
Yep.
This game not having that is fucking weird.
Yep. Because there is no pay to win, so you could buy like materials to get a better frame so that you could tear ass through the game faster without like any like real roadblocks. And briefly I considered it, but I was like, it would still take like 20 hours even if I just cranked through the game.
You still have to play the whole game to get to this point.
Yeah. So hey, Warframe, I was really interested in trying you out, but like, I'm not here for the homework. Like,
I'm happy for all you other Warframe people, but this is not the way to get new people to play your game.
Yep. Let's see. Power World has a new update. Faybreak.
It was a nice enough trailer for this thing.
Yeah, it's like a big chunky anime guy having kung fu fights with one of the pals.
Yeah, exactly.
And they kind of like team up towards the end. It looks like they're adding a bunch of new stuff, like new armor and new weapons and new pals, and just kind of your standard upgrade stuff. I don't know. I mean, like I'm glad that Power World is still in existence. It's almost been a year for Power World, and they haven't gotten shut down yet. So
they haven't been sued into oblivion just yet. So we'll see how that plays out.
True.
I still can't believe that the game that we thought was fake basically turned out to be the way it was.
That's true. Yep. And then I tell you what, before we take a break, this is one of the big ones.
Oh, I was okay. So here's the thing: I was not watching the Game Awards, but I was at a bar meeting people for the first time, and every time these people would go to the bathroom, I'd pull out my phone and look at what was going on in the Game Awards, this was the first thing I found out about, was when Onimusha got
a sequel
announced.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there really giddy, like I am visibly shaking in my seat at this bar. And my girlfriend's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Onimusha, there's a new Onimusha." She's like, "What are you? Wait, what's happening?" I'm like, "There's a new one. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm so excited."
Yeah, there's a new Onimusha.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
So fucking excited because we've been talking about this for ages.
Yeah.
When that one game got announced, what the fuck was it? That
Kunitsugami
Tower Defense one.
Yep.
We were like, is this an Onimusha game? Don't fucking play with me, guys. This is an Onimusha game. And then it wasn't. And I'm like, well, fuck you.
And it didn't sell very well. And I feel like Capcom might have finally gotten the hint where they're like, well, we don't have a new Dino Crisis, but we have a new Exoprimal. And everybody's like, I don't want to play it.
I don't want to that shit.
Well, we don't have an Onimusha, but we have a new game called Kunitsugami. And everybody's like, I don't want to fucking play it. They're like, okay, what about a new Onimusha game? It's like, yes, I will play that.
I will play your Onimusha game. Thank you.
What about a new Monster Hunter? Yeah.
Please give me more.
Give me that.
Please keep bringing back franchises I love, like a smart person.
You guys own all this shit. I can't get it anywhere else. Come the fuck on. Where is my medieval fantasy Resident Evil game?
Exactly. I'm very excited.
And you know what? Like, they showed a little. They actually, I was hoping that they weren't just going to cut away, and they didn't. They showed a little bit of action.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. The RE engine is still holding up in this current generation.
I can't wait to see what the plot is for this game either.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll bring back Jean Reno. Who knows?
God, I only played the first one. I never really checked out any of the other ones, but
I wonder if they'll end up re-releasing the other two, because I know they did that for the first one. I feel like that's what happened with that first one. That was like them testing the waters.
Yeah.
Doing that remaster they did a long time ago.
Well, they always they put out polls all the time, right?
They do. They put a lot of polls out.
What do you guys want to see next? And everybody's like, Ghost Trick. Like, okay.
Yeah. And I feel like that, we'll talk about it later, but I feel like that's also how that happened.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's good. I feel like they finally got all the stupid bullshit out of their system.
Yeah.
Even though Kunitsugami is not a bad game, I played about 2/3 of it, or maybe half. I don't know.
It's just nobody talked about it once it came out.
Exoprimal was okay for what it was. It's just not what I wanted to play.
Same. Yeah.
And this I want to play, so I will play it. Yeah. Thank you, Capcom.
I will give you my money. Thank you for that, please.
Yes. Thank you for not being a bunch of buttholes. I wanted to give you my money, and good stuff. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. Fuck. We still got a lot left to go.
We got so much, guys.
You know what? We're going to have to really pick up the pace because, there's some stuff in here like the Post Malone Hunt Showdown DLC that I don't think we're going to really get into. So
it's just like,
get ready to hold down the fast forward button when we come back in just a minute. And Michael, it doesn't look like we're going to get to any other news this week.
No.
I'm pretty sure that we're only doing Game Awards this week.
There's no way we're getting to the news.
Yeah, but we're back, and we're actually going to pick up the pace a little bit because the first thing that we have to talk about is the first Berserker Kazan, which we have seen numerous times.
We've seen a lot of trailers for this.
And it's a cinematic trailer. It
was a fun trailer, actually.
It was a fun trailer. I'm actually hoping that this game is not bad. It looks like it could be good.
Same. There's a lot of really cool visuals going on in this, and a lot of really cool bloodiness that's happening too.
Yeah, it's very violent. Again, it's a cinematic trailer of the Kazan guy just fucking like housing down on a bunch of baddos. Very gothic
and he's
setting,
chasing somebody.
Yeah.
And these really cool designs for monsters and stuff.
Yeah, it's all great. I mean, this is, for anybody who doesn't remember, this is a spin-off of the Dungeon and Fighter series, DNF.
Yeah.
You and I played DNF Duel, which was very weird.
Yeah, and it was a fun enough time.
It was a fighting game where you had fighter and cleric, and not
very strange
characters. But yeah, this is a spin-off of one of those characters, and it's coming out March of 2025. For some reason, the Russo brothers introduced it. We still don't really know why.
Yeah, we don't know what their motivations are. Very strange.
We also had Dungeon Fighter Arad, which is a big RPG based on Dungeon and Fighter.
The funniest thing is how wildly different these two fucking trailers are.
Yeah, because this is just some straight up Hoyoverse shit. This is just Genshin Impact Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah, if you told me these are two separate worlds, I would have believed you. But they're not supposed to be.
Yeah. Also, it's worth pointing out. There were a bunch of mobile games that I didn't get on this list that were in there. There was like Hoyoverse stuff, and that Wuthering Waves had a trailer, and I'm like, okay,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Don't care about that. But anyway, these are all starting to blur together for me. Like, I don't know what makes this one different than Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail or Wuthering Waves. Like,
well, it's weird what's going on. Like, a lot of these start off as kind of mobile type games that just have like this wildly popular fan base that just causes these games to happen. Yeah. And then me and you end up not stuck, because that makes it sound like that we're being held hostage by gaming.
Right. We kind of are.
Sometimes, but we end up finding ourselves in the middle of these long, drawn out stories that we don't know what the fuck's going on.
True.
It's like as if we were like we kept ending up in the middle of like a Netflix show, like way into the fact, because it finally got a dub. You know what I mean?
It's like when I start talking about the Souls franchise with people.
Kind of, but even then, at least the Souls franchise, you can see the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, I'm watching the middle of Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like
there's a lot of
what's happening. There's a lot we've missed.
There's references here that we do not understand. So, yep. Let's see. We got the trailer for Dying Light: The Beast.
The Beasts,
which we already like. Some of these are just like world premiere. I'm like, I already knew this was a thing. I think this got announced at some point.
I think it's just the first time we see these specific trailers, is what it comes down to.
Yeah. So this is a spin-off of Dying Light 2, where you're playing as a very specific character doing a very specific thing. I really liked Dying Light 1. I didn't play Dying Light 2 because they were like, it's 200 hours long. And I was like, no, thank you. And they were like, it only takes 90 hours to beat the main story. And I was like, no, thank you. So I'm hoping that this spinoff is like 20 hours at most with all the side quests.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
It's more Dying Light 2.
Yeah, looks fantastic. Nothing about this game ever looked bad. It was just there was too much of it.
It really was. Like, and it turns out even they were kind of exaggerating a little bit about how long it really was.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just not something you should tell somebody.
It's true. But no, everything about this looks great. Like, I'll give it a try. Certainly. Like I said, I really like Dying Light 2 or 1. So, and it's coming out summer of 2025. As previously mentioned, Post Malone is part of this weird Hunt Showdown, the murder circus. That's Hunt Showdown with a bunch of killer clowns, not those killer clowns.
It's like the new season of Hunt, basically. Which I'm always surprised this is still going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone who actually has ever played this game.
I think this might be the wrong trailer, to be honest. I think I've got the wrong trailer. This is like the actual
this is the launch trailer
for Hunt Showdown.
There's
Post Malone's murder circus. Yeah, there we go. A lot more clowns. A lot more weird clowns and Post Malone's
Post Malone hanging out.
Yeah.
Is he like
I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question you're about to ask.
In the game?
Yes.
Or something?
Yes. There's a brief point in this trailer where you see a Hunt Showdown style Post Malone. So
I don't know. I like Post Malone fine because he just seems like a giant nerd.
Yeah.
Who just happens to be like a big superstar now.
Yeah, I'm sure that he somehow plays Hunt Showdown, and that's why they were able to get him. But I'm not interested in playing Hunt Showdown, so like
I'm not either. And again, I don't even know anyone who plays this fucking game.
There's a Post Malone. Wow,
he's like a circus man.
Yeah, he's like the ringleader to the murder circus. I don't know, man.
Post Malone's murder circus.
December 12th to February 10th.
Walk up to someone who's never played the game and just say, "Have you looked into Post Malone's murder circus?" Just to see what their reaction is.
Just get a T-shirt that says Post Malone's murder circus. Everybody's like, what is that? What the fuck? What? Who?
Yeah, and don't ever elaborate, by the way. Yeah. Just be like, I like Post Malone and his murder circus.
Let's see. Squid Game has a game, a Netflix game that's like a multiplayer game, and the art style for it is very like simplified.
Yeah.
And it looks like a fucking phone game. It looks terrible. And they keep I feel really bad because did you watch Squid Game?
I didn't, but I always laugh at the fact that the entire message of Squid Game has been lost entirely.
Yes.
Every time one of these things happens.
Don't you want to play the Squid Game? No. The whole point of it was no, you don't want to play the Squid Game.
It's that old adage where they're like, the old book, don't make the super insane murder machine.
Right.
And then a tech guy's like, hey, we finally made the murder machine from Don't Make the Murder Machine.
Right.
Except that like it just keeps happening to Squid Games. And Mr. Beast is really what kicked that that off.
Yes,
and it's just everybody keeps losing track of what the point of this goddamn thing was.
Yeah. So there is a new season of Squid Game coming at the end of the year, but like
it's just making the money, man. They're just gonna keep doing it no matter what.
It's just so weird. Like the whole point of Squid Game was that rich people made the poors kill each other for their fucked up sexual enjoyment. Let's make a game out of that.
Yeah, and then let's put it in Call of Duty.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It's like, fuck, guys.
Stage Fright looks pretty cool.
This was a fun trailer.
Yeah, this is from the people that made Overcooked.
It's also a very funny trailer if you guys haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's two characters and they're kind of like they're doing adventures in like a split screen world that's got like two very different vibes to it.
Like a different lighting, a different almost art style in some ways.
Yeah.
Like even though it's like kind of the same world.
Yeah.
But it looks like from what we've gathered from it, because there isn't any actual gameplay.
Right.
Is that there's different things that if you hit something on one side, it affects what's happening on the other side.
Right. Because the whole thing is like what they show is like split down the middle, and then it shows stuff that you interact on one side and it does stuff on the other side.
It's also got some really good jokes.
Yeah. Very cute. Very cute. I didn't notice the giant axolotl guy in the.
I didn't either until now as well. But
yeah,
it shows how different the worlds are from each other.
Yeah, one is kind of like an outdoorsy weird, and the other one's like kind of like a village.
It's almost gothic-y in some ways.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm cool with that. Like,
I also want to know what the name really means when it comes to this too, because there's nothing really that makes sense for that.
It could be that the whole thing kind of takes place like on like some kind of twisted stage play type of thing, but
that makes no sense.
Hard to say. It was a very stylized thing, so we didn't get like gameplay or anything. Yeah. So
that's a fun trailer. So I forgive it.
Game of Thrones King's Road is a phone game. First off,
is a phone game?
Is a phone game. Yes, I think that we're watching this, and I was like, Netmarble. Why do I know Netmarble? And I looked up Netmarble, and I was like, oh, that's all phone games. Is all they do. And I was like, oh, well, that explains why it looks kind of crappy.
I was thinking that too when I watched the trailer. I was also thinking it reminded me of those old games that used to be able to play that took place in like actually not even old games, because Hogwarts Legacy did this as well.
Yeah,
where you're just. But even more so because takes place during the time frame,
right?
Where you're like, hey, you guy we've never seen before,
right?
Be best friends with Jon Snow,
yes,
and how awesome he is. It's like, oh, it's one of these games.
Yeah. Definitely like taking a new character, then like weaving them in through all the different like events of Game of Thrones. I'm like, guys, video games based on Game of Thrones got ruined by that horrible game you guys made for like the PS3.
Yeah.
And then 2, Game of Thrones just got ruined by Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And like, I guess there's people that are into like War of the Dragon, but this obviously takes place during like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and not only that, like there's still no actual like canonical version of the ending book wise,
right?
And we never get it, and they keep making games based on like the version that didn't end well.
Very true.
It's just very strange.
Very true. I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in this, and it bums me.
You want to be best friends with Jon Snow, Jeff?
I didn't like. I dropped off of Game of Thrones like 2 seasons before the horrible ending.
I didn't even get into it. It's just too much for me.
Double Dragon Revive got a quick trailer. This is the new one from Arc System Works.
I wish I was excited for this game.
Yeah, there's something about the art style that looks very generic and kind of off-putting to it.
Well, not only that, like the brothers don't feel that interesting to me in this version either.
Yeah,
like no one has done it better than Double Dragon Neon at this point, and that's what frustrates me more and more. Is that never got a sequel, but we just keep getting these really fucking weird Double Dragon games.
Well, we also, the one that we played was pretty good. The one that randomized.
Yeah, but that one had a very fun art style and a very fun idea to it. Where this looks like generic guy fighting generic man.
Yeah, it's all, nothing about it has. I don't know. I'm a little. I still hold a tiny candle because Arc System Works has a good reputation.
That's true.
But the art style does very little for me. And we haven't seen what the actual gameplay looks like yet.
Not really.
So.
And again, like I just don't find it. I just don't.
Yeah.
I want to live Double Dragon again, but you guys keep going in wildly, vastly different directions.
Sure.
Just pick a lane and stick with it for a while to rebuild your franchise.
For fuck's sake, River City Girls rules.
Yeah.
Do that.
I like what they did with the brothers more than I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
And in that version, one of them is clearly utterly depressed and wants to kill himself.
So, yeah. Anyway, I got a October 23rd of next year date. So,
yeah.
This was very weird. This was a trailer for Solo Leveling Arise. I really like the anime Solo Leveling. This is the phone game.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like I don't think that this. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that the main character that they show in here is not the actual main character from the show.
Oh, most likely not. That usually is what happens.
So I don't know if Solo Leveling Arise is like a spinoff, because he looks kind of like him, but not exactly like him.
Maybe he's best friends with him the same way the other one is.
Maybe.
It keeps happening.
Solo Leveling was a really good show. I really liked it.
Heard good things.
Yeah. It was like a reverse isekai. But I have absolutely no interest in playing a phone game. So there you go. Looks great. This trailer was really cool looking, but I'm just not interested in playing phone games. So. Last of Us Part 2 remastered PC release date.
I really hope it's as fucked up as Part 1 was, so we can see the janky glitches where they look like their hair is made of like yarn.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun time.
April 3rd, 2025. So that happened. We got a full gameplay demo or a gameplay trailer for Den of Wolves. This is the one that's made by the people that made Payday games. We got the brief teaser for it. I think at Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
And it was like a cyber version of Payday, and it is a cyber version of Payday.
Pretty much.
It is just a cyber version of Payday. Like there's parts in this trailer where they literally show people running with duffel bags on their backs like they're in Payday, but just, they've all got like cybernetic implants and everything is hexagonal and futuristic and cyberpunk. So.
Yeah, there's nothing really different, I feel, about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's shooting just like machine guns. I'm not seeing any weird cyberpunk powers. I'm just seeing 4 people with duffel bags on their backs shooting a bunch of cyber dudes.
No. And
it's like, oh, okay.
Nothing really all that interesting outside of that.
Yeah, this could just be an expansion for Payday.
It really could have been. And no one would have guessed otherwise.
But I guess given what Payday 3 did, maybe it's better to go do your own thing.
Oh, probably.
I don't know. Just not a lot to say about this because it's just fucking. Oh, that was the one thing was that.
It was made with Unity.
It was made with Unity.
Yeah.
And it's a very striking looking game for Unity, right?
It is. That is very interesting about it, to be honest.
Because it's like realistic. It's got a lot of lighting in it. So Unity's kind of. I feel like I haven't seen a Unity game in a little while, especially since the big debacle last year.
Yeah, that debacle really killed a lot of the games that would have ended up on Unity originally.
Yeah.
Like, people restarted entirely because of that shit.
True.
It's crazy.
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds got a very brief teaser.
We're making more Sonic racing games.
Looks like a Batmobile. People thought it might have been a Batmobile, and then we saw some kind of hedgehog hand.
It's totally Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of the Mach 5, to be honest, like a black version of the Mach 5.
Sure. Very little outside of that. Just they're making a new Sonic racing game. You know what, Michael? I would say I think Sonic is like a sine wave. Like it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. It's currently on the upswing between the movie and the game and this. These are all decent announcements.
Yeah.
Still not really interested in playing Sonic. I tried playing the Shadow game with Amanda. And I was just like sensory overload, man. I couldn't take it. Like,
Sonic games are for people who can focus on some weird shit.
Yeah,
I can't anymore, so I just don't deal with it.
We got some gameplay and extended trailer for Mafia: The Old Country.
This looks great, by the way.
So this is interesting. Well, no, okay, let me start over. I am not interested in this game, but it's because I don't like. It's like when Assassin's Creed 3 came out. I am no fan whatsoever of the old country Italian mafia stories. Every time they have one of those stories, I'm like, I don't give a shit what a bunch of dudes in a village did. Fucking.
No, that's fair. I get you on that one.
I mean, everything else looks fine. It's got the kind of cool looking cars and it's got some gunplay and it's very Italiano. I don't know. You were more excited about this than I am. So.
I don't know if I'm more excited so much as I think it just looks good.
Yeah.
Like I it's not that I don't like. It's not that I like this setting more. It's just that the Mafia series. I'm always a big fan of the mob stories and like making a mob story that takes place in the time that people see as like the golden age of like the rise of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I find that time frame kind of interesting because they think they're more innocent than they are a lot of times during that time frame.
Yeah.
And I just think I'm curious to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks fine. I liked Mafia 3 all right, but I'm like, I could take it or leave it. I could take it or leave it, Mafia the Old Country.
That's fair.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll play it and I'll really enjoy it, but it just overall this aesthetic doesn't do very much for me of this kind of 1910s Italian countryside stuff just doesn't really do it for me. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. Also, one time I worked with this guy that was so into Mafia stuff, like he was all into the Godfather and Scarface and all this stuff, and I was just like, you make me. He was kind of a douche, and I was like, you make me not like this stuff as much. So.
No, I grew up with the people who were like really into Scarface, so I get it.
Yeah,
it took me a long time to get over that, to be honest.
Let's see. We got the world premiere trailer for Dispatch.
I'm super fucking excited for this, actually.
Yeah.
I love everything about this.
So this is like apparently it's like a narrative focused game where you play as a character, I believe voiced by Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
It was a part of the introduction for it. He used to be kind of like an Iron Man guy that like fucks up and has to retire.
Yeah, because it seems that like he was like the suit wasn't made by him.
Yeah.
It was like made by his dad, and I guess maybe the dad died. And there's like things that you can infer from the idea of him, but he loses the suit and he can no longer be a superhero.
So he's going to work for like a superhero corporation.
Yeah, but he now works as their dispatcher.
Yeah,
and I think I guess maybe he's the head of the dispatchers too. I think is the idea, since he was part of them, that he knows more of the idea.
Yeah,
and I love that. I love the world that they set up because it reminds me more of the way the tone is in Tiger and Bunny than it does in My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
which is one of the reasons I'm more excited for it.
Very slice of life with superheroes, as opposed to like focusing on the actual hero stuff.
Yeah, and which is why it reminds me of that. Because the thing that's the other difference is that because the way My Hero Academia is more of a very wonderful world where everybody loves all the heroes and all these things are great for everybody at all times.
Right.
Or Tiger and Bunny was more like the hero was the older guy. He's the oldest of the heroes, and people treat him kind of differently because of it.
Yeah.
And there is more slice of life to it because there's less of like all the world is heroes at all times. Like these are very specific people in a very specific world.
Yeah.
And so that's what it reminds. That's why it has that specific tone to me. Mm-hmm. And also I like the fact that it's a narrative thing. So, and they got a lot of really good actors for it.
I think the other thing that I really like about it is the fact that the art style really reminds me of Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, it's a gorgeous fucking art style.
Like very like cell shaded, but they've gotten so much better with the kind of cell shaded 3D, 2D looking stuff where the characters have a lot of like really good facial expressions. But I think that this particular art style is a sort of thing where you can crank it out. Like you can really do a lot with it because it's not going to require as much like direct hand animation.
I also love that like the character designs with the art style.
Yes.
He's got like a bat coworker who is a realistic looking bat, but also cartoony enough that he isn't horrifying to look at all times.
Like a man bat, but wearing a suit.
And then there's a character that kind of just reminds me of that there was a specific wrestler from the 90s. I can't remember his name. Razor Ramon. Okay. He reminds me of Razor Ramon kind of thing. I'm very excited for
it.
This.
Looks like there's some little like mini game stuff that affects like the actual outcome of things, but it's a very narrative game. So
and depending on like who you choose to go out depends on how successful they are.
There's also wait. Nope, my brain. It just shut off. Whatever it was, it's gone now.
Because you want a Twinkie.
Yeah. It's funny.
No,
like,
it's
got good jokes in the trailer, like
and the fact that there's some jokes that play out depending on how you choose.
Yeah,
like this one that says meth puppet voice.
Yes,
for the
puppy
dog.
Yeah.
And then the one where the hero lands on some guy's car.
Yeah.
And depending on what he says, depends on what the punchline is. And I think that's a lot of fun.
Jeffrey Wright's in here. We've got Matthew Mercer as well as a bunch of other folks.
Pierce,
Lord Bailey.
Lord Bailey. Oh, who the fuck is Thought Squad, though? I'm curious as to who the fuck that is.
Well, I don't know. This site appears to be mostly like YouTube folk. I don't know. Moist Critical is in there. I don't know what the hell is up with that.
It seems to be like it's a fusion of some. Because some of them have been doing it for a long time. Some of them, like Travis Willingham, has been doing voice acting for a long time. Like I think he's Thor, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But but on the left side, Alana Pierce has been a writer and like more often, and YouTube personality more often than not.
Very true.
But yeah.
Let's see. From there, we got the vaguest announcement possible.
Oh, yeah, it was such a crazy way of announcing it, but also once I found out what it was, it's like, no, I get why you said it the way you did.
Yeah. Where it was like a musical number that then basically turned into announcing that there's going to be another Okami game.
People fucking cried from this thing. I know so many people who lost their goddamn minds, most likely.
Yep.
I know Matt's probably just lost his mind.
Oh no, yeah. I was telling him, he was obviously trying to work, and then like Onimusha came on. I was like, Matt, there's new Onimusha. They're announcing it right now. You should watch it. I was like, Matt, there's new Okami. They're announcing it right now. You should watch it.
This was another one that I was just excited about, not because of this, but because of what happens after this.
Yeah.
That made me excited because it brought hope to me that something else may happen from Capcom.
That the announcement that Shinji Mikami is working on it.
Well, that Kamiya's back.
Or no, not Shinji Mikami. Yes,
Kamiya's back, and he has a new studio called Clover's. Which is, if you guys have to remember, Clover Studio made Okami, but they made one other game that I need the goddamn ending to so fucking badly that I hope to God that they finally give it to me. For the love of God,
you want the
give me Beautiful Joe 3. For all that is holy, re-release the first two and give me Beautiful Joe 3.
Wait, what was the deal with him?
God.
He left...
He left Capcom after Clover shut down.
Right.
He then made Platinum.
He left Platinum.
And he made all these games.
Yeah.
And then he left Platinum.
Right.
Didn't say what he was going to do for a long time. He's like, I'm just going to be in the wind.
No, he had that video where he's like, I'm going to the unemployment office in like his like Lamborghini or whatever.
Yeah. And then there's the video of him being interviewed by that one woman.
Oh yeah.
And that was the one where he's like, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing.
Right.
But whatever it is, it's going to be great.
Right.
And me and you were speculating, like, what does that mean? And we joked about this exact thing, that maybe he'll go back to Capcom, and but I didn't bring up Okami. I brought up maybe I'll get Beautiful Joe 3 out of him.
Right. So you're so close.
But you were so close. I'm so fucking close. I can taste it, how fucking close I am.
Yeah.
But what frustrates me is that Okami has to do well for Clovers to have a fighting chance.
That's true.
So I hope to God that you Okami people are gonna fucking be there this time.
Yep.
You better fucking be there this time is all I have to say.
You know, the thing is that
hit that drum as hard as this guy was announcing this fucking game.
Like, I feel like watching Capcom over the last 5 years has been very interesting.
Oh, it's been fascinating.
Because, like, 10 years ago, Capcom was doing nothing with anything. Well, what? Like, 10 plus years ago, Capcom was making garbage.
They were shitting the bed like crazy.
Just like the Bionic Commando Rearmed.
Capcom they had that name for a reason.
Yeah. And then they went into just making HD remakes of all their stuff for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then they came back with, was RE7 like the first thing?
7 was the beginning of their comeback.
Yeah.
And then just kept going from there.
And then since then, even though they, like, I want to be very clear here. I know that nobody played Kunitsugami. It was actually a very fun game. I actually played quite a bit of it. It was actually pretty fun. Like Exoprimal, I know that that's not what people wanted, but it was a good version of what it was.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't what people wanted. But I like the way that Capcom has been like, okay, well, we still have Monster Hunter. We still have Resident Evil rolling. We still have Street Fighter rolling. Like, we can afford to do stuff like Kunitsugami, and then when it doesn't work, we'd just be like, wait, hold on, is Kamiya just like unemployed? We'll call him and see if he wants to make Okami too, for fuck's sake.
Somebody call Kamiya, see what he's up to. And Kamiya was drunk, probably in a corner, being like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, sure, man, whatever. Like,
I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy that Clover is back in some kind of capacity.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting turn of events.
Super interesting turn of events. That was the thing I was actually excited about.
Yeah.
Not even just Okami. Because I liked Okami fine, but it was never my guy when it came to that studio. My guy was Beautiful Joe, and I'm so goddamn close. I'm so fucking close, Jeff. Just do it, guys. Pull the trigger.
You know,
please.
okay, so,
I need this.
So here's the. I don't want to burst your bubble, but there's a good possibility that like Kamiya agreed to make Okami 2 so that after Okami 2 he can make his own personal passion project.
Beautiful Joe 3.
And whatever comes after that may or may not be what you want.
I need this, Jeff. Don't fuck with me.
No, I know.
This.
I'm trying to temper expectations. Okay?
My expectations can't be tempered.
Listen, I wanted Armor Core 6-2, and I got Night Rain instead, and I'm happy with what I got.
That's fair.
The penultimate game was the Crimson Desert, which I assume is...
This looks fine. I don't know what to say other than it reminded me of a game, I guess. I don't know. It looked okay.
It's an open-world action-adventure game developed by Pearl Abyss.
What did Pearl Abyss do before this point, by the way?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
I've never
did they
heard
make
of
that
them.
other game, the weird, like, Crimson... Black Desert Online. Yes.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, that makes sense. This is just Black Desert Online 2.0. Like it's an MMO. It's an action MMO.
This is an MMO?
Yeah.
Well, now I don't care.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know that. It could not be an MMO. I guess they.
What does the description say? Because the description usually lets you know.
It says
open world action adventure game.
Yeah, it says open world action adventure game. I don't know. Maybe it is a single player game.
But yeah, it says vibrant storytelling, intense action. Oh, it might be it might be their attempt at a single player game.
Could be.
Or a co-op game at least, because there is a lot of like moments that look like they're playing with somebody else. I think there's a lot of different characters. That's the main thing.
Let's just be clear that I think this is an MMO. I think this is one of those action MMOs that they like to make.
I can't tell because there's a lot of actual story stuff happening. I feel.
Yeah.
But it like if it's a single player story or like even a co-op one, there's a lot going on here that makes me interested enough to try it.
Sure.
Like it looks like a lot of fun.
I think it looks like Black Desert Online 2.0. So late 2025.
When we find out more.
Yes. And then the last announcement of the show, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. So this was interesting. Okay, wait. First, before we do this, we'll make everybody sit on pins and needles the way that I did.
No.
This is the final announcement. Somebody's missing from this show. Some motherfucker with not one, but 2 video games in development that is a good friend of Jeff Keighley who came to the show and gave out an award, did not show me Death Stranding 2 or OD, in spite of the fact that that man has had a feather up against my nuts tickling back and forth for like 3 years now.
Yeah, we have nothing for that.
That game's supposed to come out in 2025.
Statler Warlord made a great joke about it.
Yes.
And we still got nothing out of it.
Yes. Anyway, boo.
But we'll go back to the last announcement.
Yes.
That the internet was also really cool about.
The Heretic Prophet. They both started and ended with something that I'm sure the internet's going to be completely cool and neutral.
100%.
And so
I think it was the best thing ever.
This is the next Naughty Dog game.
I'm so happy that they were like, "Hey, we have another IP for once."
Yeah.
Because God damn it, if I heard The Last of Us one more goddamn time from them,
oh God, if
I was
The
going
Last
to
of Us 3
be so upset.
No, it's about time. Like they've been trapped in that development cycle for a while, and I knew they were working on something else.
Yeah.
Like there was like little hints and stuff. So. It's a sci-fi game.
Yes.
We see this red spaceship
with the most fucking advertisements I've seen in a trailer in a very long time.
Yeah, the spaceship has the Porsche logo on the back of it. There's a character, it's a lady with like a shaved head. They got like kind of a little fake anime that's going. Very like lo-fi tube televisions. Yeah. 80s kind of tech.
But they have so many products.
Yes.
So much product placement in this game.
Yes.
It's crazy.
But
let's talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, the character kind of comes through. They get a telephone call. It's like a bounty hunter thing. There's some references to like that this character might have bounty hunted with other characters.
You can also see a lot of other actors that are definitely going to be in here. One of the guys, if you guys don't know, he played one of the bad guys in one of the Breaking Bads. He was Swordmaster and in fucking
Lalo.
Yeah, he's in there. He's in that picture.
Oh shit, I didn't even realize. Wait,
yeah,
back one more. Oh fuck yeah, that is him. Holy shit. You could totally see that it's actually him.
Yeah.
And also Camille Nanjiani.
Yeah, Camille Nanjiani. But you also see him like very, very prominent as the thing she's after.
Yes. So she gets like a call from another character and oh wait, I'm going backwards. And it's like a bounty hunting job and they discuss it. And she finally like accepts it. She's kind of going through the ship very
well, she like forcefully makes the other lady make her accept it, basically.
Yeah. She's a very alien tech, like that kind of retro style grimy 80s stuff.
And a great soundtrack going on while all this is happening, by the way.
She's got a CD player,
a Sony like thing that's going on.
Yeah,
but it's very interesting that it is a CD player inside of a very fancy spaceship.
Yeah,
made by Porsche.
Yes, made by Porsche. And then apparently, and then at the end, there's like a very brief moment of what looks like. I mean, we don't get any like gameplay or anything, but
it's like definitely like an in-game thing.
Like it could be like third-person action. It looks like it could be some kind of action thing.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see what this ends up really being after all.
Yeah.
Because God damn it, I love Naughty Dog. They've like, as much as I know I don't care about the Last of Us universe anymore. Yeah. I liked it a lot when it first came out.
Well, yeah, no, I had no problem with Last of Us 1. It's just that like nobody would shut the fuck up. It was like the only video game that anybody had ever played in their entire life, and I was just
they would only make
man.
They would only make Last of Us 1 and 2 and then remaster it like 1,000 times.
Yep.
And then not make anything else.
And then I'm sorry, man, but I don't think Uncharted 4 was as good as Uncharted 1 or 2 or 3.
It was I liked it for what it was, but it has a lot of holes plot-wise that it's hard to get past.
Yeah.
And it just felt like a weird epilogue that it didn't really need that much.
Plus, Uncharted 3 had the whole like, oh, here's young Nathan Drake's backstory, and then Uncharted 4 was like, oh, here's also young Nathan Drake's backstory again,
but with even more.
Right.
By the way, also he had a brother. It's like, what's happening?
And also his brother sucks, and I didn't like him very much. I didn't care much for him. So
like it was just a weird epilogue that happened. Is what it was. But then, but like I said, like Naughty Dog has been this weird rut of just Last of Us stuff.
Yeah.
That we were just worried they weren't going to make anything else after that. And I'm just happy to finally getting another IP from them.
Well, I think they've been. I mean, what you're seeing here is obviously something that somebody has been working on for a long fucking time.
Yes, there's no way this just came out of nowhere. Kind of thing.
You don't put this shit together in no time. Like all the different, the way that tech looks and the backstory. These were all very much like choices that were made very specifically, very deliberately.
These characters have so much going on in a life that we haven't even scratched the surface of.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to find out more about it.
Yep.
Like, again, the only weird thing about it is that I get taken out of anything when it shows real life products.
Really?
Like, because especially when it's like a far-flung future thing.
Sure.
Because it just takes me out of the fact, because there's a game I play with my brother every now and then, just called Spot the product placement, where we'll watch a movie and we'll be like, there. Like there's the 7-Eleven sign, there's the gas station or whatever.
Sure.
And this game forced that part of my brain to activate, because they're like, here's the Adidas shoes, there's the Sony logo, there's the Porsche thing. See, for me, there's Kamal Nanjiani.
For me, it has the opposite effect, is it makes it feel more real, because it's like, oh, we don't have a made up logo. It's like a future where there's actually Sony audio equipment, because they would still exist. And so
I know once I play the game I won't have that issue. It's just that like it took me out of the trailer itself, at least at the time. But now that I watched it again a couple times since then, that's how I caught the guy in the picture kind of thing. Like I then accepted what, like you said, this is a world where this is the real world necessarily, just maybe the far-flung future. Who knows? Maybe Porsche will make a nice looking spaceship one of these days.
It's a very cool looking spaceship. I want that spaceship.
The way the ship is designed, it made me surprised how much bigger it is on the inside than it looks on the outside.
Yeah. It looks like it would be like a fighter, and it's kind of like a yacht or something.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like there's a whole shower and everything in that place.
I think everything about this was cool. Also, too, even when there's not specific references, like the jacket is obviously an Akira reference, the kind of short sleeve red jacket. This lady on the teleprompter, I swear to God, I was like, is that Sigourney Weaver? It looks a lot like Sigourney Weaver, but it's not.
Well, it also reminded me of the eye patch lady from Twin Peaks. I forgot her name.
Oh, yeah. I really appreciate this like fast food cup. Looks really good. Like, it looks very good. I'd like to see, I'm excited to see Naughty Dog stretch out and go in a new direction. I have been on record a bunch of times as saying, like, the last thing in the world I want is for a developer to make a brand new game that everybody likes and then have to just keep making sequels to that game over and over and over again.
Naughty Dog used to be really good about getting out when they felt like they got their fill of it, because that's why Crash Bandicoot 3 basically ended at Crash Team Racing. They're like, we don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
That's why Jack and Daxter also ended at 3, or Jack X. They don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
Originally, Uncharted 3 was supposed to end at Uncharted 3, but somebody's like, I got one more idea. Yeah. Even then, they're like, we're done from then on. Well, I'm not counting Lost Legacy, but even then, that was like, it's clearly a spinoff that they just did willy-nilly. And then when The Last of Us happened, we were expecting the same thing, but then they just kept remastering those two games.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Well,
it was the same issue. It was like a smaller version of the same issue Rockstar had with Grand Theft Auto 5.
A little bit.
Where they were stuck in a rut when you look at like the amount of games that were made in a short period of time, and then all of a sudden it's just Last of Us 1 and 2.
The problem that I had with it was the fact that, like, I understood remastering The Last of Us 1, but I didn't understand remastering The Last of Us 2.
No,
it didn't need a remaster.
But the issue was they remastered Last of Us 1 twice.
Yeah.
And that was it just felt like a waste. And I think part of it was the fact that they were trying to make that online one,
the multiplayer
for
game,
so long that I feel like they just didn't want to take people out of The Last of Us yet until it was out to maybe keep that going. And then once it failed, they're like, oh shit, now we don't have anything to show for anything.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they finally had Intergalactic ready at this point.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've been working on it the entire time, because there's like stuff in both Last of Us 1 and 2 remaster that like reference it, and
like ready to stuff. When I meant ready, I mean ready the show kind of thing. Yeah. Like they finally feel like they don't want to. I feel like Cyberpunk did this, like, caused a lot of people to realize, don't announce too quickly.
Sure.
And I'm hoping that's the lesson learned from everybody.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm so fucking over Last of Us, and I wish that it would go away. I find
You're not excited for the show, Jeff?
Look, we're at the end of the podcast, so most people have tuned out, but I find the Last of Us universe to be like,
that's just depressing,
insipid misery porn. Like, no, like I understand that there's a worldwide problem, but, like, you know, I don't want to hang out in this world full of shit people that they're just garbage. Like, they treat each other horribly, you know, or not even that. We just follow the ones that treat each other terribly. Like, there's a whole beautiful community run by Joel's brother, full of little kids having snowball fights and fucking like square dances and hanging out on a Friday night. And who do we follow? The one broken ass bitch in this entire universe. She goes and tears her whole life down and sets it on fire for a stupid thing.
That was my issue with my issue with The Last of Us 2 having been made, is that, like, if anything, you should have just did a different person entirely. Then they just went and just made it. It's one of my issues. It's like my issue with Ted 1 and Ted 2.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, Ted 1 ends with this happy kind of story almost, and then Ted 2 is like, oh, by the way, all of that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck, what's the point of this?
And then the Last of Us 2 trying to manipulate my emotions by being like, oh my God, Frank's dead, you guys. Frank got killed. And then in chapter 2, it's like, oh, let's hang out with Frank for 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, man, killing people. You didn't give me very many options. Like, when you get seen, like, this is like some of that Far Cry bullshit where, like, the only way to win The Last of Us 2 really is to just never play it in the first place.
Yes, which is why I have won multiple times in The Last of Us 2.
And I am not about to be guilt tripped by a video game that gives me no option but to fucking slit Frank's throat. Like, Frank's gonna murder me, and it's gonna be game over, and I can't continue the story.
Well,
like,
the other thing that turned me off about The Last of Us 2 is the back, knowing what he wanted it to be an allegory of.
Yeah.
And I can't say because I don't want to anger the internet.
Yeah.
But if you just have to look it up and you'll find it, and you'll be like, oh, well, now I don't care about this even way harder.
Anyway, sorry.
And again, like, I just wish my problem is that I like the idea of The Last of Us, but the reason The Last of Us 1 worked to me is because at the end of the game, there's this hopeful narrative behind it about two people finding each other. And then, like, sure, there's, like, a lie at the end of it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still about two people who've now found each other and feel like a sense of family again in a fucked up world. And then the second one's like, but what if we took all of that away and just made it the most depressing possible version of that? Because that's my problem with story. That's the reason I never got into Game of Thrones, because everybody's like, you can get into Game of Thrones, but it just keeps kicking in the dick every season. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want that. Yeah. I don't play games to find myself knee deep in misery. I play games to find myself knee deep in, like, if I'm in knee deep in misery at the end of the day, I'm given some hope at the end, kind of thing. Yeah, and that's the problem. Is The Last of Us 2 doesn't even have that.
I'd also like to say that, just like, I know some people will violently disagree with me about this, and it's just like, look, man, there's a second thing about The Last of Us that has happened since I first played it when I was working at Spill.com, where if you tell people that you're just not, like, in love with The Last of Us the way that they are, they get weird about it and try to, like, convince you that you're wrong. Yes. That, like, you should enjoy it more than you did. And I'm like, motherfucker, I consume a lot of video games and a lot of media, and not all of it's happy. But, like, there is a difference between something that's miserable and something, like, that's miserable with a point. And I just found The Last of Us 2 to be too miserable to get out of. Let me just say,
no, it's like the Serbian film thing.
Well, no, let me just say this. I don't like the movie Up. Okay, while we're talking about, like, our
that's an interesting thing to say that too.
Okay, and you know why I don't like the movie Up?
Why?
Because the backstory for the guy is too sad.
Oh, okay.
It's so sad that when they start making jokes, I'm like, I'm not laughing. That was fucking horrible. Like, you compress,
actually, I'll give you that.
A man's the misery of one man's life into, like, 10 minutes, into, like, 5 minutes, and injected it directly into my brain. And you're like, ha ha ha, the dog talks, and I'm like, but the man, his one love, he let himself die when his wife died of cancer. I can't engage with your jokes. And The Last of Us 2 is the same way, where it's like, okay, well, these characters maybe have hope, or there's maybe some hope for humanity here, or whatever. And it's like, no, the main story was too fucking, like, sad for me to ever be able to disengage out of that and enjoy any of the other parts of this. It was just like, okay, let me just play as one person self-destructing until they almost die. Oh, you know what? Now there's another half of the game where you can play as another person self-destructing until they almost die. And I'm just like, I don't want to do any of this. So
it's always my issue with certain revenge story. It's always been my issue with revenge is bad stories. Yeah, is because I'm like, I got it. I don't need to keep being told revenge is bad for this long.
Yes.
But what I love about revenge stories is that I love revenge stories where they're told revenge is bad, but they do the revenge anyways.
Yes.
It's my favorite stupid quote, which is that, like, the one where it's like, when you go out in revenge, you always dig two graves. Yeah, it's like, that's stupid. I'm gonna kill way more than two guys.
Right.
Those are my favorite revenge ones.
Listen, if you're a person listening to this and you like The Last of Us, I'm very sorry that this turned into a little bit of that. It's just, the thing is that normally I manage to keep it all contained in a little box inside of me. Yes. And then every so often that box opens up, and then I've got to just fucking do this.
He was very close. It was very close to exploding, which is why I was like, we need to pull back. We don't have time for this.
And so I really like this, because it seems like something that is not set in a world that is specifically, I don't know, maybe
also,
it is a world specifically made.
Comedian Kamal Nanjiani.
Right.
Nanjiani.
Yes.
There's going to be some fun to have had at the end of the day.
Well, just, play space adventure. Let's have an adventure. Let's have some fun.
I know I'm going to hit some, like, emotional stuff that's going to happen eventually.
Obviously.
But because that's Naughty Dog's great about it. I'm hoping more for Uncharted than I am for Last of Us is really what I'm expecting. Or hell, even Jack and Daxter, at least.
God, do you know what game I really love? Uncharted 2. It's literally
Uncharted 2 is amazing.
Favorite game that Naughty Dog has ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing. You remember that part at the end where you're in the caves and then the thing, like, moves in front of the camera like it's been in the foreground the entire time, and then you run to the other side, it just, like, stands up and you're like, what the fuck is happening here? Or you're running away from that truck shooting behind you and you're just like, oh my god,
it's so
god.
Good. And I love Uncharted 3 quite a bit. Uncharted 3 is a great, like, send off originally, and that's why I think Uncharted 4 is just not really all that well needed.
I want to do a playthrough of Uncharted 2. I really do. It's been long enough. I really want to do it. Anyway,
really
that's it. That was the Game Awards plus some complaining about The Last of Us. I'm very, very, very excited for Intergalactic: The Heretic Project. I can't wait to see more of it. I love every part of it that I've seen, and I want Naughty Dog to get into like a fun space adventure that I can have a lot of fun with. So
I can't wait.
That's it. Michael, why don't you tell them where they can find you when you're not over here? This is the last time in 2024 you're getting a chance to tell them. So.
Yeah, you can find me at oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. I finally did 2 new reviews. I'm on both Craven the Hunter and Nosferatu.
A real exercise in dichotomy there.
Oh yeah, and the best part is Aaron Taylor Johnson is in both of them.
Oh wow, okay,
which is that much funnier. That happened to some other people because apparently the guy who plays the bad guy in Craven was in like their favorite movie of the year called The Brutalist.
Oh,
and he was in Craven Hunter like literally the next day. They watched him in that, like, literally the next day. So it was the same thing for me.
Okay,
but you can also find me on YouTube under Supermaniacs. It's a Superman podcast I am doing with a friend of mine. We are trying to maybe do one later this upcoming week because the Superman trailer might come out very soon. Mm-hmm. So we're going to either do that when it comes out, or we're going to talk about Superman and Lois now that it's over.
Okay, cool. And hey, if you like the podcast, it does take some work. Patreon.com/RageSelect is where you go if you want to help us out. I'll just tell people right now, we watched the Game Awards live right there with a bunch of other people. So we don't always do that for every big live stream thing, but we do it for some of the stuff. So yeah, if you want to come hang out with us, you can do that. And also it helps keep the website in business. With that, I am wrapping this up. We have one more podcast left this year. Bye, everybody.